And a very big welcome everyone to the Harness Racing SA Southern Cross Night live stream here at Globe Derby Park. A very busy 8-race program. We have 4 feature pacing finals, 2 for the trotters and also 2 consolation finals as well to kick off the program coming up very shortly. Massive night, and I'm joined here by Mel Kittel. Great to have your company, Mel. Big night coming up.
Yeah, thanks, Lachie. Very exciting. Southern Cross, it's a big one for us all, isn't it? We all look forward to this all year, and tonight's no exception. There's some really good racing, and yeah, the consolation, good on them for putting on a 2-year-old, 3-year-old consolation. Obviously, the combined sexes, but the owners get to send their horses around for a bit more money again, and they get another chance, you know, to go around and learn a little bit more.
Exactly right. And if you've been targeting this series and your horse wasn't quite up to scratch to make the final, it does make it a little bit more worthwhile. Of course, obviously nurturing that younger horse, training it up and getting it to the racetrack on time for this series. And I think when we have a look at the 2-year-old final, and then of course the 3-year-old final will kick us off, but the 2-year-old final a little bit later on, there are some talented horses in there that could easily maybe even sneak into the final next year as a 3-year-old. But it's going to be a fantastic night. Of course, we've got some pony races as well coming up throughout the night. We have a pretty busy night as far as guests are concerned as well. We're hoping to have Samantha Pascoe, Danielle Hill, the Cavallaro family as well joining us. So it's going to be busy. We're going to have people coming up here chatting to us throughout the night, and which is great to see the industry coming up and supporting the stream.
And we're going to pull a few in, obviously, after their wins, which are going to surprise a few of them, I'm sure, but which will be great. You know, there's no better way to promote our sport than to talk to these guys. They're the backbone of the industry, and get as many as we can up here would be great. But yeah, obviously the girls first up, so that'll be really, really good to have a chat to Sam, obviously representing the state in the Young Drivers Championships next week. So have a good chat to Sam and see how she feels about that. So it's been missing for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
So good to see that it's back, and how exciting. We had the National Drivers Championships here, and to have the Young Drivers Championships back is just, it's a great incentive. And to send Sam over, I think she'll do us proud. Yeah,
it's great for the drivers because they have to represent their state. It's a night about them. Like usually in the sport of harness racing, sometimes the fascination can get lost with the horse, and the drivers are very talented people and they do a fantastic job, and we have a lot of talent here in South Australia, that's for sure, and we'll be seeing a lot of that on display tonight. Bit of a different time slot for the Southern Cross, of course, Friday night. We're here on a Friday night at Globe Derby, very unusual because we race basically every Saturday night, but a prime time slot on Sky Racing 1 where amongst all the action, Melton's on tonight, and you also have Moonee Valley Gallops, which is a very popular meeting, so great to see Globe Derby up there with a big night alongside some big gun race meetings across the country. Yeah,
for sure. It was a great initiative by Harness Racing SA and obviously Dean Elliott and his team. We need to try something different, don't we? We need to get above the game, and this is the way to do it. And, you know, let's see if it works. I think it's a great idea. I'm not sure about you, Lachie, how many calls you had this week to say, was it on a Friday night? A lot. But, you know, this is the reason why we want to get onto that stage. We want to get on Sky 1, and we want to promote South Australia. So, well done, guys. Let's hope it works and improves the turnover. We've got some good betting races, and hopefully everyone can pick a winner.
It's all off course now, and that's what people have to understand. Like it's a sport purely based off, you know, you want to get people betting on their phones and obviously engage with the betting, seeing at home or at the pub. Of course, on course and people coming here is very important for the survival of harness racing in South Australia, but overall our performance on a national level when it comes to how we perform with people watching in pubs and people who just watch Sky Racing and love a punt, that's very important as well. So it's going to be a very good night, and it's good to see Harness Racing SA taking that step and moving it to a Friday night and putting us in a prime time slot along some big race meetings tonight. So it's going to be a fantastic night. We kick things off with race 1 in 9 minutes from now. And Mel, you'll take us through the field.
We've got a
field of 6 to kick us off.
Just a field of 6, to start, and obviously it's the 3-year-old pacing Cobbity Equine Farm, so 3-year-old pacing Southern Cross Series Consolation. This is for the 3-year-olds combined, obviously, the baby, like the fillies and the geldings or colts. Number 1, a run for Mum, Lisa Ryan, driving for Toby Ryan, been in pretty good form.
Yeah, it really has been. Liked its Port Pirie form recently. She's run some handy placings up at Port Pirie. Obviously was outclassed in the heat of the Southern Cross last week. In Elegant's heat, and Elegant dominated that heat. It was a massive victory. But she'll like the inside draw. Once she hits the front, she's a hard horse to run down. I think she'll be able to hunt up and lead from that gate 1 position. And I think at price, she's currently $3.10 on the tab fix is a decent price as well about her. The draw suits her, and I think her form at Port Pirie really reads well at the moment. So I'm looking forward to see how she goes in race 1.
Yeah, for sure, definitely one to watch. Number 2, Better Than a Kiss, is Rebecca East, the trainer. Michael Norman takes the drive. Coming up from the southeast, obviously at big odds, but this is a good stable.
Yes, Rebecca East also a very big supporter of SA Harness Racing. She nominates a lot of horses down at Mount Gambier to support their meetings, and she's always been a massive supporter of South Australia. Of course, located across the border in Haywood in Victoria, but always comes to SA when she can and supports our big race nights. And Better Than a Kiss here, look, her form as a 2-year-old was quite good. She's probably dropped off a little bit over the last couple of months, and especially during this prep, she's struggled to work into her races, but her form as a 2-year-old was quite okay. So I think she'll be around the mark tonight if she can get the right run and start to return to some of that old form. But in saying that, this preparation, she's been up against some really tough fields. This is probably her most easiest field she's been against since coming back. So I think the point with her is if she can bring some of that old form back, she will be dangerous. But she does look a bit of an outsider as far as the fluctuations are concerned as well. 41 out to $101 on the tab fixed at the moment.
For sure. Just a quick note on that one. Obviously, in the ownership group is Anthony Vizanaris of Jive Cafe. So good luck, Tone. I hope you can bring it some luck and get some cash.
Big supporter of harness racing, Tony.
Big supporter of us all. So well done, Tone. Number 3, Deadline. Jill Nielsen for Katie Wilson. Obviously had a little bit of an error. Start before last. Jill thinks she's got it back on track. It was cleared by the stewards to run again last week. Can go good, this horse.
Yes, well, the runs earlier in the month were very good. Earlier in November, that was. Got 2 wins on the trot, was going fantastic for Wayne Hill and the sulky. And then the start after, obviously something wrong there, and the start after that just was obviously outclassed. But if he can bring back some of that form he was showing in the early stages of November and the late stages of October, he's going to be extremely dangerous. But it's just a matter of which Deadline shows up. So he's the question mark runner, because if he brings his best run, look out. But at the same time, 100%. He hasn't done that for a couple of weeks. So he's $2.90 out to $3.80. Went out to $4 at one stage, but they brought him back in now to $3.40 on the tab fixed.
All right, so number 4, Eugene Bromack. This is with Jamie Williams, and David Smith takes the drive. Another stable that have really nicely bred horses, and the Cormac team, Cormac Racing, do a really big supporter of SA Harness, so let's see what this one can bring. Yeah,
very good ownership group, Cormac Racing, a supporter of harness racing in general. They've had a lot of success in the sport here in South Australia and interstate as well, and of course Greg Norman, a lot of the horses that he races in Victoria, he sends back here to SA to be trained by Jamie Williams, and of course Greg made a move from South Australia to Victoria and is having a lot of success in Victoria as well, with the Cormac team helping him out. And it's great to see that he's still supporting SA Harness Racing from afar and sending his horses back here to South Australia along with the Cormac team to Jamie Williams. Eugene Bromack, again, outclassed in the heat last week, up against Cobber. Very hard horse to beat when the Websters come over here. But if you look at his runs before that, finishing 3rd behind Orator and Mr. Cheese in the early stages of November, and not finishing too far behind Celestial Zodiac the start after that. He's been racing well up against that Monday class. You'll find that a lot easier tonight than he did last week, but he has been an alarming drifter as far as the fluctuations are concerned. 9 out to $23, number 4, Eugene Bromack.
All right, number 5, Mr. Cheese. Jill Nielsen again with Daniel Hill and the sulky. This is another one that on its day can run a really nice race.
He's up and down. He's a hard horse to work out, Mr. Cheese. Doing the form is a nightmare with him, because I remember when he got his first win, it looked like a penny dropped with him, because it was an impressive win. He just found the front and he won by 21 metres, given it was a much weaker field. But at the same time, the way he won compared to how he was racing before he broke his Megan, because it took him a good 15, 16 goes to break his Megan. When he won, it looked like everything had fallen together with him, and then he's been a little bit up and down since. He was a winner 2 starts back, beating home Sorrento, who's been racing well recently for the Luke O'Neill team. So I like his chances here tonight, but it just depends which Mr. Cheese shows up.
100%. Obviously, he broke last week in the heats, which didn't help his chances at all. Obviously, like you said, he was in a really good heat anyway, but breaking didn't really help him. His form before that was really good and probably good enough to beat these at his best. Number 6, Who That Boo That, showed some form at Perry, really come from last, and really made you turn around and look at this horse. So Toby Ryan and Matthew Smith takes the drive.
Toby has a lot of success up at Port Pirie. He always brings a strong team up to Port Pirie, and that was no exception on Tuesday night when Who Dat Boo Dat won by 4.2 metres. Excuse me. A bit of a out of the blue win because the form before that wasn't great, but was a winner at Mildura in the early stages of November as well. So if she could bring a best run tonight, she's going to be around the mark. Market probably opened her up a little bit too long at $23. Went out to 34 this morning and then has been cut right back into $18 as we speak. But looking at the market, the money's come for Mr. Cheese, $2 into $1.75, back out to $1.85. I Run for Mum has had support number 1 as well, $3.70 into $3, back out to $3.20. Deadline has been a bit of a drifter, $2.90 out to $3.50. Little nibble for Who Dat Boo Dat, as I mentioned, 26 out to 34, back into 18. But I suppose the most telling part of the market, Mr. Cheese, now at $1.90, but there has been a little bit of money for Mr. Cheese. If he brings his best run tonight,
for sure,
he's the one. But
there's a few in this race like that.
Exactly right. I think if I Run for Mum hits the front boat, and this, I put I Run for Mum on top purely for this reason. I think if it leads, should be very hard to beat from day one.
Toby Ryan's going to have one at the front and one at the back, so that's also going to help their chances a little bit, isn't it? But your selections, you're sticking with number 1? Yeah,
number 1, I Run for Mum to beat the 5, Mr. Cheese. My third pick was 6, Who Dat Boo Dat, and my fourth pick was 3, Deadline. If he was racing like he did a couple of weeks ago, he'll be on my on-topper here, but just been a little bit disappointing over his last couple of starts. My numbers for race 1, 1, 5, 6 and 3. We're 2 minutes off race time. Runners are arriving at the start for the first. Obviously, being the 3-year-olds, will be over the 22-30 metre journey of 2.5 laps here at Globe Derby Park, and it's an intriguing race. Probably 3 to 4 main chances, and
at least you can get a little bit of value in this one. There is a few in here. You know, we get later in the night. There's some really, let's say, standouts, isn't there? It's going to be hard to back them, but you know, if you like a horse in this, I'd say stick with it.
Stick with it.
You know, there's anything can win this race, and if you've been following something, maybe have something on it. Obviously, it's a small field, so you're not getting much value for your place. But have something on these horses. Anything can go good on the night.
A race call tonight, Jim Jakes. This is his second to last week of race calling before he hangs it up, which is sort of strange to think about like that, isn't it?
We all grew up with Jimmy, and it's going to be really weird to lose him, but hopefully we can have a chat to him after and see how he's feeling about that, and that'll be good. But what an icon he's been, and
he has.
I'm sure tonight will be an absolute thriller for Jimmy. He'll put in his best, and it'll be really exciting.
We'll hear some really good race calls tonight, that's for sure. His tips in race 1, he goes 3, 5, 4 and 1. He puts the 3 Deadline on top, so he's thinking Deadline can reverse his form there, and he's gone 3, 5, 4 and 1 with his numbers. We'll cross over to Jim very shortly. We kick things off with race 1 with a constellation. We also have a pony race after this, Mel, so I'll be joining everyone for the coverage of race 1 of tonight's pony trots. 2 pony races tonight, one after the first and the other one after race number 2. So stay tuned to the stream to watch those live.
Stars of the future. Lockie will be calling them, and we'll look forward to that. Lockie, it's always a bit of fun, isn't it?
It is. Only small fields tonight, but always good to see the younger drivers out there performing and doing what they love. They're very passionate about their ponies, obviously, training through the week. And you, as the mum of Jason and Brody, would know how much passion and work goes into it.
It's a big insight into harness racing. It gives them a good start, doesn't it? And something to look forward to. And these guys are no exception. Obviously, we've got Paige Hill, Charlie Brown, Ollie Stale Smith, all involved with harness racing, and all have their parents still involved, aren't they, heavily? So, it's no exception tonight. And small fields, but, they're the stars of our future, and we have to support them. And good luck to them. It's a lot of fun.
Just a quick market update before we cross to Jimmy. Mr. Cheese, number 5 at $2. $3, number 1, I Run for Mum. $3.90 on the tab fixed. Deadline, number 3. And on the tote, Mr. Cheese remains our favourite at $1.80. Very similar on the tote market as well. Jim's ready for us to go. Race 1 tonight at Globe Derby. Let's hand over to Jim Jakes for the call.
Categories. Mobile goes into position now. Mr. Cheese, who galloped in his particular heat, is well supported as favourite here. And he goes in position 5. He's got good gate speed, a good chance of leading. First event here, Paul. Out to $2.10 now, Mr. Cheese. They continue to back I Run for Mum. And Deadline gets out to $4. I felt that Deadline had as good a chance as any horse in this race. I think that $4 is not a bad price. We're about to find out. Ready now. Mr. Cheese restraining. going back at the start, and I Run for Mum, the one that's been well supported, is not getting any pressure for the lead whatsoever. Gets a comfortable lead. Better Than the Kiss is second. Deadline goes to third. Mr. Cheese restrained at the start, trying to go back to the tail end of the field. Eugene Bromack is in front of it. Now Who Dat Boodat goes underneath Mr. Cheese, who's been restrained strongly to go back to last placing. But in the meantime, I Run for Mum, who's always very hard to beat when she finds her front. She's had a pretty soft lead, and there's been no pressure applied whatsoever. In second placing, following the leader, is Better Than the Kiss, and in third placing is Deadline. A quicker tempo would help his cause, but this is really, it's a 22:30 race, but Lisa Ryan's turning this into a 1800 metre sprint because there's no pressure at all on her out in front. Now, behind those on the inside, all on the inside, is Eugene Bromack. Following those through in second last placing was Who Dat Boodat, and Mr. Cheese has been restrained strongly to the tail. Danny's coming one off now. They're just going too slow. Lead time very comfortable, 49.4. And surprising to me, Deadline stayed on the inside, doesn't come off, so it's in all sorts of pain now. 3 back the inside. And leading the way as I Run for Mum in a walkathon. Out in front with a lap and a half to go. In second place on the outside is Eugene Bromack, who showed initiative to come off and get closer to the leader. On the inside, following the leader, is Better Than the Kiss. Mr. Cheese, 1 out, 1 back. Deadline needs an absolute miracle now. I thought he's a top winning chance, but I don't want to be on him now. And on his outside was Who Dat Boodat. 32.7 that first quarter after a lead time of 49.4. And she's had a really good run in front. I Run for Mum. She's out in front, leads away by 2 metres. In second placing, Eugene Bromack. Mr. Cheese has been driven quietly, but he's just getting on 1 rein and that 1 out, 1 back. Better Than the Kiss travels okay on the leader's back. Deadline 3 back the inside, then Who Dat Boodat at the tail end of the field. Now, they're finally starting to inject a little bit of speed into the race. It's a sprint affair. 30.1 that second section, 62.8 as they go past the 600. And the well-supported runner, I Run for Mum, left out in front, no pressure. There's no excuses whatsoever for her here. Mr. Cheese is coming 3 wide, starting to pick up the bit and come at the leader now, getting past Eugene Bromack. Better Than the Kiss is sticking to the inside quite well. Then Deadline and Who Dat Boodat at the tail end of the field. I Run for Mum in front. Mr. Cheese on the outside. 28.6 for that third quarter. Better Than the Kiss behind those in third placing. Then Eugene Bromack, and Deadline's not doing anything. He'll probably run last. But on the outside, Mr. Cheese poked his nose in front. She always kicks back, I Run for Mum, and she's doing that. She's coming back at Mr. Cheese. Mr. Cheese and I Run for Mum, but Mr. Cheese will get there to beat I Run for Mum. Better Than the Kiss will grab third. Fourth placing behind that was Who Dat Boodat. Then we had Deadline, and the last one to pull up was Eugene Bromack. So Mr. Cheese takes first prize, number 5. It's been good enough to out-tug I Run for Mum.
There you go, guys. That was the first race, the Cobbity Equine Farm 3-year-old Pacing Southern Cross Series Consolation, won by number 5, Mr. Cheese. Obviously, it was the favourite for good reason. Really nice horse for Jill Nelson, Danielle Hill driving. Danny is going to join us after race 3 tonight, so we'll have a chat to Danny, obviously, about this horse, and she's got a really good chance, a couple of good chances later in the night as well, which we'll have a chat to her about as well. Second, I Run for Mum, which was obviously Lockie's tip, led and only just run him down at the end, and number 2 was third, Better Than a Kiss. Obviously, we mentioned the Rebecca East team. They have good form, they have really nice young horses. This one's obviously no exception, put in a lot better run tonight, and might just definitely be one to follow there. So that's race 1, where we're heading into race 2, which will be the 2-year-old Pacing Southern Cross Series Consolation for the 2-year-olds. It's sponsored by Alabar. That kicks off at 6:48. In the meantime, though, we're going to have the ponies in a minute with Lockie that are going to hit the track. So Lockie's just left me at the moment. He's running down to check out the pony races. So Lockie's going to have an update there. We're going to cross live to the pony races, and these guys are going to have them on screen for you so you can keep track of the stars of the future. So on that, race 1 for the pony trots. This is on Southern Cross night here. We've got number 1, Smokin' Hot, which is Charlie Brown. So Charlie comes from the Brown family, obviously. Brother is Nick Brown, who's obviously a junior driver. Peter and Terry also train. So also a little bit of family history there from Charlie. Number 2, Rockstar Jelly, is Paige Hill, obviously the daughter of Wayne. And number 3, Sugar Rush, is Ollie Stower Smith, and has obviously the connection with the Smith stable and the High Horrick team. So really big, only a small field, just the 3 runners in the first pony trot, but a really big connection here with the industry. These guys all have brilliant upbringing in the harness racing team, so these guys will be stars of the future, and I think we really need to keep an eye out here. Obviously on the other side we usually have Todd Mumford and Candice Mumford's son as well, Hunter. There's a few other kids coming up through the ranks and really ones to watch. So when Lockie's ready, I think we might cross trackside shortly, but he's not quite. I think the ponies are taking a while to get on the track. So after this we're going to have an interview with Sam Pascoe. Sam's representing South Australia in the upcoming Junior Drivers Championships in Victoria. So we're going to have a quick chat to Sam. She's put her colours on for us and probably sweating like the rest of us up here, so we really appreciate your time. And Sam also is driving Layla's Princess in race 3, which is the first of our Southern Cross finals for the 2-year-old fillies. Looks like Lockie's on track for the pony trot, so I'll cross back to Lockie and we'll be back soon with Sam Pascoe.
As well, and they are away and racing in the first pony race of the night. Smoking Hot won the start off the front mark, began off the 400 metre handicap and will lead for Charlie Brown by about 20 metres in the early going over Rockstar Jelly for Paige Hill, racing second, who began off 4:30, and last of the trio Sugar Rush for Ollie Stower Smith off 4:50. They race up to the turn, and it is Charlie Brown on top here with Smoking Hot leading the way, clear by a good 15 metre margin. Rockstar Jelly eating into the margin now, getting closer to this leader, and a further 8 metres away to Sugar Rush, who's also making an impression and making ground quickly from the back mart. They are tight and compact as they swing for home. Good finish coming up here. Smoking Hot on top, only clear by 10 metres. Can he still keep kicking? Rockstar Jelly trying to wind him in. Then we go back to Sugar Rush, who's last of the 3, taking the shortcuts home and going down to the inside, but it's a front marker on top here. Smoking Hot withholding all challenges for now, is clear by 10 metres, just skipped about roughly there for a few stages, but it's still Smoking Hot over Sugar Rush. Rockstar Jelly down the outside, but Smoking Hot gets the prize and beats home Sugar Rush, who will just get second in front of Rockstar Jelly, who was last of the 3. 132 will be your numbers there after race 1 of tonight's pony races. Smoking Hot gets up for Charlie Brown, beats home the 3. Sugar Rush for Ollie Stower Smith, and third will be for 2, Rockstar Jelly for Paige Hill.
Welcome back, guys.
132
Thanks for that. Pony race was very exciting. Obviously a small field. Dean's just mentioned 2 of those drivers off to represent our state in the Intermediate Pony Championships next week. How exciting.
Well done to Charlie Brown for taking that out, and
for
Charlie's off along with young Ollie and also Amity as well. So great to have 3 representatives.
Amazing.
We've got a grown-up representative as well, don't we, heading over too?
Sam's joined us now, as mentioned previously. Sam, firstly, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So Sam's joined us. She's actually representing the Junior Young Drivers Championships next week. You leave on Monday?
Monday afternoon, yeah.
Monday afternoon in Victoria. How exciting to have this series back for starters. We've obviously missed it for a little while with COVID. We had the Drivers' Championships. We had James Herbison as a junior driver win that championships, and he said on the night, I'm disappointed I didn't have a chance to represent into the Young Drivers' Championships. Now you got this back. How exciting for you, and what does it mean?
Yeah, I'm obviously stoked to be able to represent SA. Sort of, I guess given that we've missed the last couple of years, it's pretty exciting to be able to go again. And I've just scraped in for the age limit, so lucky that they could have it this year, I suppose. But yeah, I'm thrilled. I don't really even know what to say.
Right, that's fine.
Well, how about we were just talking off air before, Sam, about how this championship's laid out. It's a little bit different to, say, maybe the Australian Drivers' Championship that we held here back in September, which Wayne obviously did really well at. Talk us through the program. It's pretty gruelling over sort of 4 or 5 days, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's pretty much non-stop from as soon as we get there. We're driving like every day from Tuesday all the way to we actually have our final on Interdom night, so that's pretty exciting to be able to drive on that night. And then just all through the days we're sort of doing tours around the place and just a whole bunch of stuff as a group. Just pretty much as a driving experience, it's a good time to make new friends and No, I'm excited to drive at different tracks, and
Yeah.
it should be really good.
How many of those tracks have you driven that before? I'm
None.
assuming not many.
No,
none. At all?
none.
Yeah,
none.
right.
The only I've driven at Mildura and Oyen in Victoria, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you're heading from, obviously, Tabcorp Pub is the Tuesday's the first meeting where you have the 2 heats. From there, you're going to head to Ballarat, another 2 heats. From there, you're going to head back again to racing at Maryborough, and then you're going to come back for the final, Bendigo, another 2 heats. God, you're going to be
Every day it's
and then back to Melton for the final, which is on Interdom night anyway, which is just exciting in itself, as you said.
Yeah.
So what do you think, like, what excites you about this series? You're obviously going to be driving against some absolute champions, as we know. We've seen them before. Who are we looking out for? What's your biggest rival here?
I suppose there's the 3 New Zealanders that are coming over. I'm going in as a bit of a small fish. I'm not expecting too much. Just it'll be a bit overwhelming initially. I'm assuming, but look, I'd be happy to. I'd love to win at least 1 heat. That's sort of the main aim. But yeah, I'm going over in a bit over my head. I think there's some pretty good drivers there, like Cam Hart. He drove in the New Zealand Cup only a few weeks ago. So the competition's pretty stiff. I'm not really looking at it as a competition. It's more just an experience.
Yeah, well, no, you shouldn't discount yourself. I mean, you were a dominant driver, young driver last season, by the length of the Globe Derby and the Flemington Straight. So you said that some of the fields are out already for Tuesday and Wednesday, so you've got a couple of your drives. Maybe Wednesdays are looking a little bit stronger and a potential winning chance compared to Tuesday, where you might need a little bit more luck.
I haven't looked in, I've seen the horses that I'm driving. I haven't looked into it too much because obviously I was focusing on the form for tonight. But I think Wednesday at Ballarat's looking like I've got a couple of better chances. More just sort of, I spoke to James Herbertson, it's his dad's horses I'm driving on Tuesday, both of them in both heats. He said that they're bread and butter horses, not champions. So just going around, it's a nice way to ease into it, I suppose. But yeah, on Wednesday looks like I've got a couple of better chances.
It comes down to the horses you draw a lot of the times, doesn't it? And the barrier, as we know, we see it here week after week. We've seen it in the Drivers' Championships. You can't help that and you can't bring that, but you've just got to put in on your best at the night. But sometimes these things turn a corner and it works in your favour, and sometimes it doesn't. So we just hope that you draw a good horse and you draw a couple of good horses, and that's sometimes all it takes. You've got to be there on the night and you get a chance to turn the tables and hopefully bring it home for SA, which we really hope you can. You've driven, so far, 165 winners. Great effort. Did you know that? Sorry, that's from yesterday.
I think you've cracked the $750,000 mark as well. Prize money.
759, yeah, 759,000, and total drives 1,648.
Yeah.
So
It's a good strike rate.
really good. Yeah.
What about tonight, closer to home? Can you cause an upset with Layla's Princess?
Look, I think it's certainly winnable. I'm not going to say that that the favourite is just a moral. Have to sort of be a little bit strategic about it. It sort of struggles a bit around the bends, whereas Layla, she's just a little pocket rocket. She just goes when you tell her to. She steers nice and stuff like that. So just sort of got to try and drive the race to beat it, really.
Yeah.
Cavallaro's horse. So yeah, I think it's a possibility. I'm not super optimistic, but it is certainly.
She went good
possible.
last week, though. You obviously found the front. Over-raced probably a little bit, but it didn't really matter. You gave them a real run for their money, and like you said, she was safe and foolproof, and really made the favourite have to really hit the line, didn't you? Because you gave them something to chase.
The
do you
week
think
before,
you're going
to? I got to the front and probably tried to slacken off a little bit much, and then it could come around and burn me off and work its way to the front.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So last week was sort of more going for the just get to the front and run.
And just keep going,
Yeah.
Do you think you can find the lead and cross the one, Miss Bobby's friend?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yep.
I think we'll be leading again.
Really good gate speed this week.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, for a little horse.
And for a two, like from the get-go, being a 2-year-old, she just comes out the gate safe and sound. You don't have to worry about her going rough or anything like that. So I'll be driving her out hard again tonight.
For sure. Honey Bun, obviously, really nice run last week as well. Obviously had to chase them down. Took a lot of work. Came from a fair way back in the field, but it was a really nice run. Hit the line well. Were you happy with the run?
Yeah, really happy. Yeah. Jill said to me when I got back, I gave her a little bit of a heart attack because I went to the pegs. But yeah, look, it was always going to be hard to beat. Elegant. It was sort of realistically you're kind of running for second, so I wanted to look after her and make sure that we had a horse for tonight as well.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah, she came out and hit the line really well.
All right, then.
Sorry, can I butt in?
Yeah, go for
How
it.
good did Elegant sort of look and feel to you?
Yeah, I knew
Losing
around the
fast.
bend. I knew
Yeah.
I was in trouble because I was driving Honey Bun and Danny's just sort of sitting there, just waiting for me.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
she had plenty left.
You've also got Heston Blue Streak for Jill again. Same, was a nice run last week. Again, in a really good field, but you've got to be in it to win it. Going well. It's a horse that can probably put itself into the placings, do you think?
Yeah, he's probably not up to the Tour finishes or
Yeah.
Jules Lincoln and Cobble. He's
Yeah.
a nice horse. He's doing a really good job, but he's probably not quite in their league.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, he put in another good run last week. He'll certainly, he's consistent, so he won't be too far
Yep,
away.
and then you've got the trot last. Of course, the baby trotters, the 2-year-old trotters, just the one star for Misfortune. It's for Jill again. So what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, she's got the standout couple in there as well. So
Yeah, we're just trotting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I drove it at the trials a couple of weeks ago and I made it all the way around trotting, did everything right. Last week, there's baby trotters for you.
Last week, that's all they had to do, wasn't it? They had to trot. So it's
so
exactly-
we'll just
could
be
the
trying
same.
to trot this time.
Didn't
For sure.
Jill have a 100-to-1 winner earlier in the year on a feature night? So
Yes.
Lightning could strike twice.
Yes, that's in tonight again, Honolulu Lulu,
Yes.
in race 3. So yeah, it can happen. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, Sam,
Very good.
thank you for joining us. Good luck tonight. Hopefully you can drive your first Southern Cross final winner. Let's hope. Stranger things have happened. We had a couple of roughies last year. These horses are not in it. Layla's Princess, obviously, probably your best hope for the night. But more importantly, for your trip to the Junior Drivers' Championships, have fun. Thanks for wearing the colours. These are the SA
right.
colours, everyone. You can see
Sweating,
these on screen.
but we're good.
She's sweating, but we really appreciate her putting them on show. But yeah, good luck. Bring it home for South Australia
Yeah,
and
thank you.
have some fun.
And
Yeah,
make sure you
looking
get on the
forward to it.
return flight. Don't get poached out of.
Oh, the
out of
return
Victoria
flight's
just yet.
6:30 Sunday morning, so
Of course, it's straight to the trials.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. Good luck. We'll just go to a quick break while we let Sam get to her driving commitments, and we're going to come back with Lockie for a preview of race 2.
There's some in the fridge over there, but... Welcome back to the Harness Racing SA Southern Cross live stream. Of course, we just caught up with Samantha Pascoe there, Mel. Obviously, a busy time for her with those Young Driver Championships coming up
Yeah, very
in
exciting.
Victoria. And I heard Dean towards the end of that interview, just make sure she comes back here. Because obviously we need the talent here in South Australia as much as we can. And obviously before that, we saw the first pony race and we saw the running of race 1 taken out by Mr. Cheese. A bit
Mr.
more of a
Cheese.
quiet drive for that horse tonight, and
I
it seemed to
think-
do the trick.
Yeah, for sure. I think they know it's obviously got the ability and
Yep.
maybe just nursed it a little bit to make sure they got
Yep.
the win. Smart plan, wasn't it? Like, let's face it, nursed it around. Danny knows what she's doing and she looked after the horse and it was too good. Good finish though. It was a couple there in the end. A run for mum gave it a run for its money. So that was a really nice start to the night.
Yeah, not for my tipping, but a good start to the night for the Jill
Yeah, you
Nelson
better off
team.
with a
And
bit of value, aren't you?
exactly right, and I think Danielle Hill is going to have a massive
I
night
agree.
tonight.
And she's coming to join us after the next race,
yeah,
so let's see
hopefully we
what
can
she
catch
has.
up with her
So we're moving into race 2. It's the 2022 Alabar 2-year-old pacing Southern Cross Series consolation. This is obviously the consolation, as we said, for the 2-year-olds. The one's actually scratched, unfortunately. Number 2, Supercharged. Paul Cavallaro, Greg Rogers in the sulky. This started off quite well here, didn't it? But had a little bit of an upset and hasn't been running as well lately.
Yeah.
But if it puts it all together, it can go good on the night.
Yeah, we're seeing the trial ability of this horse. He always comes out and runs well in trials. Last couple of race starts probably haven't been up to scratch. 2 starts back from gate number 1. Got defeated by Celestial Zodiac by 12 metres. When we saw it in the winter, in the early stages of the 2-year-old season, looked to have plenty of upside, was a winner, defeating this generation by a half neck in his first ever win as a 2-year-old. So look, if he can bring his best run tonight, he's going to be featuring from the inside draw, especially now with the scratching of number 1 Martia.
Yeah, 100%. The Cavs obviously have an outstanding job. Do an outstanding job with their horses. This horse had a bit of an upset when it went to Menangle, which is unfortunate for them because they've had to get it back and get it back into condition for this, which is a hard task, isn't it? But you know what? If anyone can do what they can, they'll turn this horse around. It's just a matter of time. And if tonight's the night, it'll be right in the finish. Number 3, Universal Boss is driven by Corey Johnson. Number 3, it's only had the 2 starts.
Yeah, for Kevin Monduvi here. For Southeastern Visitor, only the 2 starts for no placings. First start at Mount Gambier was inconvenienced and gave ground, and then the start after that again gave a bit of ground and was struggling to race smoothly. So obviously a younger horse just learning the ropes. And Kevin Monduvi, good trainer, and he's got some nice horses, and hopefully he can get this horse up and going as soon as possible.
For sure. Number 4, Indelible Maze, obviously Dale Afford, trainer driver. This horse has got a lot of ability, hasn't it? It just it's quite a nice horse. And, obviously they've made the trip down. Dale does a great job with their horses. Is this favourite? Sure.
Yeah, surely has to be. It opened up on the tab fixed at $2.60 during the week, which I was very surprised about, because when I did my market, I had it at $1.40.
Nice horse.
It has to win tonight, I would think. $2.60 into $1.95 out to $2 at the moment. That's a juicy price. That's my best bet of the night. Indelible Mace, recent form has been terrific. Has had the 8 starts overall for 3 wins and 2 placings. Has been racing well, and even last week in the heat was only being 12 metres behind Jamaican Rock,
and
that's a good horse, Jamaican Rock. So
probably unlucky not to make the final, you know, obviously with the way that the heats are drawn, but really unlucky. But you know, good for them that they've got a chance in this consolation to go around again. Number 5, Mod Squad, Peter Borelli for David Smith. This horse as well should be in the market. It can go good on the night. Yeah,
eye-catching run last week was inconvenienced and made up a lot of ground over the concluding stages. Even Jim Jakes picked up on it during the call to only get beaten by 12 metres in the end behind Hazel Talk. So that's good form heading into a race like this. So he must be kept safe, because if he paces smoothly, he's going to be around the market, Mod Squad. So only the field of 4, a very congested market. We have Indelible Mace, number 4, our fave, $2.60 into $2. That's overs for me. Supercharged, number 2. I understand why he's short. He gets the inside draw now, but at the same time, we haven't seen his good form since that run at Menangle. So he's $2.90 out to $3.50, but he's been chopped back in to $2.90. Mod Squad number 5 is $2.25 out to $3.40, and Universal Boss number 3, the outsider, 51 out to 81 this morning, but chopped back into $34. So obviously a bit of movement for that runner, but the field of 4, pretty straightforward market. Indelible Meso does look over the price for me.
Yeah, I agree. Good stable, good trainer. He's driven it himself, obviously. We had a few starts with Ryan Hohorick on board. Dale's been driving himself lately, and it goes good. I think, you're right. It's going to definitely be the one to beat.
Dale's had a lot of success in the Southern Cross. A couple of years ago with She's a Shark at Port Pirie, a big hometown win when the series was moved from Globe Derby to Port Pirie. And he's
100%.
a fantastic trainer when it comes to younger horses.
100%. You can find a good horse and they perform. And, you know, I shouldn't say underrated, but he probably is a little bit, isn't he? Like, at the end of the day, Dale does a great job with his horses. He's got a good team together. This horse is no exception, and he's got a really good ownership group. Good luck to them. Hopefully this horse can get the cash in the consolation and give him a bit of excitement, because they deserve it. This horse has been a really nice start to its career for them.
This horse owned by the Hunt family, Brian Hunt, Mackenzie Hunt, train a few horses themselves. Obviously, bred by a Medhurst team, this horse, and Hunt owns it, and obviously switching it over to the Dale Afford stable, plenty of ability, and that's why it's wearing the colours of blue and yellow instead of Dale Afford's traditional green with red stars. But yeah, Dale, very good with younger horses. He's also very good at preparing a horse to run first up as well. He has a terrific record when it comes to getting horses to perform after a spell. Yeah, as we mentioned, Supercharged must be respected here. Paul Cavallaro had a great season, hasn't he?
They're just flying. Their horses are going great. And then you've got this horse, this new horse into the stable. It's only a baby, Sunshine and Rainbows. It's just come. Obviously, they've had this horse for a while. It's taken a lot of work, and they've started it, and it looks like it's going to be a really nice horse. And then you've got these horses like the Wrangler in the fast class. You know, the new addition of Wapinka Heritage, their horses always go well and perform well. Yeah. Supercharged, as we said, below par at the moment, but anyone can get this horse back on track, it's going to be the Cavs. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, isn't the team just flying?
I know. His story about the return into the industry is so interesting. He was at the Wayville one night only night, which became 2 nights only, but one night only, the first ever Wayville meeting we had back, for return to Wayville back in 2017, I think that was now. And the interest grew again for him to enter the industry. Obviously, he was a very good driver back in the day, and then he was gone from the industry, I would say, for about 5-6 years. And then he's made that return, he's gone to Wayville, he's struck some sort of interest again, and look where it's taken him. He's won an SA Cup.
100%.
He has a team full of great horses in his stable. Obviously a great family, Paul, Lisa. Lisa, obviously very talented with horses herself as well. So
don't forget, obviously, Lisa's a Sergi. So the Sergi team in the old days, the Golden Grove Maestros, they had a brilliant team. They were leading trainers, weren't they? Like, they had a great team.
Golden Grove Maestros, I've never heard that.
No. Yeah, they were the Maestros, so people the old school would know that one. But, you know, they were the team to beat. They had some really nice Country to Crisco. You know, they had the horses to beat every week. And obviously, Peter Sergi and the Carbone combination were just a great formation. And Paul had a lot to do with that. Obviously, he was the main driver as well as the late Mark Webster. But, you know, they've always had good horses. They've always been able to train them. Paul obviously had to come back to driving and then had the terrible fall here with Danielle Hill on Cup Night, which was a shame because he was a really good driver as well.
He was.
Still does drive him. He drives his always track work, obviously, with the training and driving with the help of Lisa. But enjoying training and does a really good job of it, doesn't he? So why not?
And it's great to see someone who was involved in the industry so long make the choice to step away, but also come back and have a great time like he's doing. Like, you can see him at the track, and he's visibly enjoying, even on a Sunday morning at the trials, he's visibly enjoying what he's doing.
100%.
So,
and as you said, wife Lisa's always on track. She's always, as Paul will say, giving out the orders, Lisa. She does. So I think Paul's been commanded to come up for the interviews. But in the case of Sunshine and Rainbows, the kids own that horse. Great story. You know what I mean? Isabella and Michael own this horse. Good luck to them. Hopefully they can have a success story here with this the ownership group for the family. But yeah, the team's on fire, and the history behind this family is amazing.
And the other thing is they have a big team of owners, so they're bringing people to the track in the process as well. And it's so important to have trainers who can get people together in ownership groups and give them a thrill and get them to the track and cheer on their horse, because that's the sort of stuff that keeps the industry going.
Oh, this is exactly what we need. And speaking of owners, trainers, stable hands, drivers, anyone that is on track tonight, help yourself up to the botcher room. They have refreshments and snacks provided from Harness Racing SA. Well done, guys. Thanks for that. We really appreciate it. Lockie and I will have to get a delivery up here later, I think. But
Uber Eats SA Botcher.
Tony, if you've got time, just chuck us some food. But yeah, well done, guys. This is what we need. Look after the guys that support us. Something so easy, some drinks and some food for the guys that are putting these meetings on and here week in and week out. Well done. Thanks to Harness Racing SA for supplying it and funding that. That was a great initiative, and really happy.
We're on start time now for race 2. Let's have a quick look at the market before we get stuck into this. Indelible Mace has been supported over the last couple of moments, so obviously people are listening to me when I say it's over the price. $1.70 now. 3.20 number 2 Supercharged. Mod Squad has drifted out a bit, $2.25 out to $5, and Universal Boss at 26. Our race caller Jim Jakes, he's gone 4, 2, 5 and 3 in race 2. My numbers here, I go 4, 5, 2 and 3. Let's head to Jim for the coverage of race number 2, the consolation for the 2-year-old Pacers.
Moving up now. So Supercharged from the inside. Universal Boss, Indelible Mace, and Mod Squad. Mod Squad went a lot better last start, but was a bit one-paced in the run. So Indelible Mace continues to have very good support now. He's into $1.65. Supercharged also had support. It's at $3. Everything else has drifted out pretty well. Set. He's going to have a crack with Indelible Mace to try and get across Supercharge, and rightly so, because Supercharge went roughly and galloped, and the favourite just rolls to the front comfortably. Universal Boss in second placing, 10 metres away. Balancing up is Supercharge. It's back now on the inside, and racing behind it now was Mod Squad. Indelible Mace got an easy lead. He's out in front by 7 metres. In second placing is Universal Boss. Good to see it's not pulling as hard as what he did in the heat. He got very keen in the heat and fired up. And he's a lot better, a lot more comfortable here tonight. 13 seconds the lead time. Supercharge goes to third placing. Then in last placing is Mod Squad, and he'd probably need a quicker tempo than what he's getting at this stage to suit his style of racing. First quarter, 30.5 after lead time at 13 seconds, and he can rate the lead as he likes here. It's out in front, Indelible Mace. Dale Efford's calling the tune, leads by 6 metres. In second placing, at this stage being reined up, was Universal Boss to try and get on the favourites back. A further 5 metres away to Supercharged and Mod Squad at the tail end of the field. 30.5 that first quarter confirmed. Indelible Mace comes into the front straight. He's starting to work on him and niggle on him. He's still got the hood on, Indelible Mace, but he's on a loose rein and working on his mouth to try and keep him motivated. He just wobbled up the track around that bend, but he goes back down to the inside now. He leads by 5 metres. Universal Boss is second. Supercharged is only 4 metres away in third and thinking about coming to the outside, and Mod Squad follows it through. He comes to the outside with Supercharged, and he goes up quickly, and Indelible Mace not responding with the attack, and he's offering nothing. Indelible Mace, the hood's been pulled. He's trying to kick back on the inside, but he had too much speed, Supercharged. But now Indelible Mace kicks back to just about level peg. 31.8 that second section, 62.3, 30.3. Mod Squad still in this race, starting to wind up around the outside in third placing, only 5 metres from the leader. Supercharged still got his nose in front, but Indelible Mace with the advantage of the inside gets back level. Supercharged now a neck in front. Down the outside, Mod Squad's coming at them. Indelible Mace trying to kick back at Supercharged, but Supercharged is going to be too good. Galloped at the start and still wins. Good performance. Second, Indelible Mace had his charge, just wasn't good enough. Mod Squad not far away from a win, and they beat the other guy, Universal Boss, by about 40 metres in last placing. Supercharged too good. Blundered at the start. But he has been good enough to sprint up to Indelible Mace down the back straight and take him, and has taken total control. Supercharged at Bay Colt 2 years by Art Major at a Flying Miss Mac, raced by P.A. Cavallaro, P. Sergi, W.L. Hartwig, C.A. Hartwig, D. Pangallo, J. Pangallo, G. Ray, D. Heinz, W. Carvosso and D. Carvosso, and Greg Rogers drive.
Welcome back, guys. You weren't here, but Lockie and I were just praising the Cavs on what a good run they're having, and how they, if anyone can turn that horse around, it would be them, and they've proven it tonight. Supercharged.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a tight finish as well?
Yeah.
Indelible Maze was very well supported in the market as well.
Yeah, and Lockie tipped Indelible Maze for good reason. It deserved to be the favourite. It's got really good form. Supercharged showed really good form until it went to Menangle, and then Lisa said it got sick over there and had a few issues. It's taken him a while to get this horse back on track, but as Lockie and I mentioned before the race, if anyone was going to sort this horse out, it would be them, and they've done it. It was a good win in the end.
Yeah, no, they're great horse people, the Cavs. So Paul and Lisa and the team there, and it probably won the race in the back straight with that electrifying turn of foot, didn't it? And put the others under pressure. But it looked like a competitive race on paper, and that's what it turned out to be, albeit only 4 horses with that scratching. So maybe that was the first of a winning double without wanting to jump the gun with the big girl in the next race.
They've said they can come up for an interview. They've already told us they'll have an interview, so that's good. Thanks, Paul or Lisa. I'm pretty sure Lisa's going to nominate Paul. But it was really good to see the success of these guys. They've supported the industry for a long time. Yeah. Obviously, the SA Cup win was massive for them, and they've got a big crew out on track by the looks of it. Big ownership group in Supercharged. That's what we like to see.
There's an ex number 1 AFL draft pick down there as well, with the initials JHF, who's limping around after a bit of knee surgery and But that wasn't enough to stop him cheering on and jumping up.
Yeah, obviously daughter Isabella as well has a connection with Jason, and usually Corey Durden from Carlton, also a big crew they've got here with the Cavs because they all play footy together. So yeah, great. Get some owners on track.
Yeah.
How good.
And they've got a really nice setup at home, don't they, with their own private facility, and it's very peaceful and tranquil. It's sort of like the old, like a scene from like The Godfather, and you walk out there's a couple of goats coming across the track, the olive trees, but it's really
great.
Peaceful surrounds for the horses, and they obviously do a really good job.
Have you heard from the previous days the term the Golden Grove Maestros? Lockie hadn't heard it. I mentioned it today, and he was like, I've never heard that one. Obviously referring to Peter Sergi and Joe Carbone in the old days. They had a combined training. They were leading trainers for a long time, and that's what we called them. Lockie had never heard of that, so obviously it's a new beef to you too.
Handing it down. So what have we've got? Heat 2 of the pony trots.
Yeah,
as well,
pony trots is coming up now. I think Lockie's going to take over in a minute. It doesn't look like they're quite on the track, but they shouldn't be far away. These horses are a couple going around again. Obviously, Rockstar Jelly goes around again for Paige Hill. Sugar Rush going around again for Ollie Stower-Smith. And then Flash Caviar. Charlie Brown goes around again, but different pony this time. So the same 3 drivers. We've mentioned these 3 guys previously. 2 of the 3 tonight heading to the Inter-Dominion, and the other one, obviously, Amity Moritz as well.
And correct, yeah, that's right. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is Sugar Rush and Ollie. So this pair are going.
Yes, it would be. Oh, that's Ollie's only pony, so I think that must be the one. Yeah, so and good form. Geez, if we were backing something, we'd want to back this one.
1, 2, 1, 1. Yeah, geez. Yes. All right. So what are we looking forward to for the rest of the night? Just while we've got a minute.
While we've got a minute, obviously the next one obviously is going to be the 2-year-old Southern Cross finals. But more importantly, before that, we're going to speak to Danielle Hill after this pony race.
Yeah,
how exciting!
Yeah, no, I can't wait to pick.
Already driven a winner, and looks like she's going to have a really good night.
Yeah, just prolific with her winners, isn't she, over such a long period of time? And one stat that I love, having been here for 12 months now, one stat that I love last season, she won the premiership by exactly 100 wins.
Perfect. I think Lockie started this pony race, so we'll cross to Lockie and we'll be back with Danielle Hill.
Sugar Rush, who's squeezing through the centre, and Rockstar Jelly is trying to lift again on the inside. So they turn for home. Flash Caviar is on top on the inside. Rockstar Jelly and Sugar Rush has swung 3 wide as they turn for home. Look at Rockstar Jelly on the inside, putting in a great performance to kick back. Flash Caviar, a bit one pace at the moment, skipping about a bit in the centre, needs to lift, finishing off over the top. Sugar Rush, it's Flash Caviar in the centre. Rockstar Jelly, 3-way go here. Sugar Rush storming home. Sugar Rush goes to the top. Flash Caviar trying to lift, but Sugar Rush gets up, beats home Flash Caviar. Good performance by Rockstar Jelly, not far away in 3rd placing. A great race there. Sugar Rush, Ollie Stower-Smith gets up, beats home the 3 Flash Caviar. Charlie Brown.
Welcome back, guys. Obviously, that was pony race number 2. We're at Got the Cash, Ollie.
Yeah, just sat back, 3 wide on the corner and rushed down the outside. So well named Sugar Rush. It did come with a bit of a Sugar Rush, didn't it? Finish late.
Yeah, Ollie's a real character too.
Yeah.
Like if you speak to him down the stalls, he's here every week and obviously have the connection with the Ryan Horick team. Well done, Ollie. I reckon he'll be rapt to get a winner on Southern Cross night.
Booked his ticket for next week, so well done.
For sure, well done, guys. Obviously, we've spoken before. Danielle here was joining us now. Firstly, welcome, Danny.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us, Danny, on short notice. You've got a big night tonight. We really appreciate your time, firstly. But before we get into your big night, you've already started with a winner. How good?
Yeah, super. Mr. Cheese done things wrong last week, didn't appreciate cover, but he had the cover behind the best horse and didn't appreciate it. So tonight I elected just to sit him up. It wasn't pretty, but he got the job done, and that's the main thing.
Lockie and I mentioned before, you obviously opted to drive this horse quiet and look after him because you obviously knew he had the ability to win the race, and that's the way it panned out, and he won it. You don't have to win by a flash margin, but he did it pretty easy in the end.
Yeah, I just thought sometimes the middle distance can see some of our horses out, especially because we don't race over it very often, and I thought if I can see him up and give him enough breathing time and just get him to settle that he can run some solid quarters. I know the times weren't overly quick, but still he did what he had to do.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move into the main one. So obviously your next drive will be the 3-year-old Pacing Fillies Southern Cross Series final. This is sponsored by Alabar. Thank you to Alabar. Your driving this is Elegant, which was really, really impressive last week in the heats.
She was very cruisy last week. She just got to the front, just loped along. Her times were great. She was actually a second quicker than Cobber.
For sure.
So I was so impressed with her, never pulled the plugs, just sat there and just said, let's extend a little bit, and she just had all the answers. Bit of a sticky draw, but I don't think, you can never be too confident. I mean, it is a race and anything can happen, but she's clearly got the ability, so, you know, she can make mid-race moves, she can do whatever, she's so versatile.
Yeah.
You
Sorry,
go.
Mar,
You
sorry.
go.
I was just going to ask on that point, how do you see the race unfolding from that draw, and do you do anything different because you are on a dominant filly? Does that enter your headspace at all?
No, just get her around safely and give her clear air and she'll do the rest.
She'll do the rest.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Webster, obviously, we can still call him a local. He's from South Australia. We're still going to claim him. To come over here, he's had the 2 runners for you on board. You had a lot of success with him in these series last year as well, so it's great to pick up these drives. These horses are both flying, so it's a really good addition. Before we jump to your second one, in between, you must have a favourite of yours, number 9, in the 2-year-old Pacing Colts and Geldings. He's all talk. This horse is absolutely flying.
He is. He's just a lovely horse. He's very quirky to get him out onto the track to do your warm-up and then trying to face him behind the mobile. But once he's facing behind the mobile, generally he's pretty good. He did skip about a little bit early stages of the score-up last week, and I went, oh no, Simon, not tonight. But then he got his feet, and he's still learning, but I really like the way he sort of just does what you ask of him. I do think he'll be a nicer horse the older he gets.
For sure, he looks like he'll be a better 3-year-old, but he won his heat last week, which is always a confidence booster, isn't it? He won it impressively, obviously. It looked like he didn't probably had a little bit more to give even, but he also looks really genuine as a racehorse.
Yeah, definitely. He sat on the bit really strong last week, which he will do that with a sit. He's sort of a bit green when he faces the breeze. He hasn't won from the breeze yet, but still, I like to be able to move him and put him in different spots and stuff like that. Just it's all about learning. And he's navigated 3-4 wide those last corners. So look, he does drive nice with a sit. Nice to have an armful of horse and then make a move. So the race is going to be genuine. Like it's a solid race.
Yeah, and Ryan's obviously got a strong hand in the race, doesn't he? And how do you measure up? He's all the talk with a horse like Jamaican Rock. Like they're probably 2 different. Like Jamaican Rock's definitely got his quirks, doesn't he? And can lay in and sort of hang about a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And your boy sort of we saw, although it was a blanket finish last week, he sort of seemed to have them covered. So. Like, is there a bit of a pecking order, or and also tactically, how do you see that unfolding?
We worry about tactics when the race unfolds and it starts to happen. You can never go out there with too many plans, especially with 2-year-old races. I know my horse, I know his capabilities, and I think that's all that matters. It's going to be a tough race. And if there's speed on, it brings him right into it.
Yeah, for sure. Speed is going to help you from behind, and up front, he's got a chance as well. Obviously, Jamaican Rock is a high-speed horse on his own, but yeah, as we said, takes a bit of driving, which is obviously why Ryan has elected to drive him himself. Also a good thing. So you can move on to Cobber in race 6, which is a 3-year-old Pacing Colts and Geldings final. Cobber, absolute superstar. Look at it go last week. It just looked like... wow, it was really impressive.
Yeah, definitely. He had all the answers last week. I was so impressed with him. Still went over the line, bit in his mouth, felt solid. I was super impressed. That's my first sit behind him. So, you know, he had all the answers last week, so let's hope he can do it against tonight.
Put it away a really nice horse too, didn't he? Like, it's just not like it was an average field. There were nice horses in that race, and he made them look like they were trialling.
Yeah, definitely. To his credit, like I just sort of started moving him up about the 6, and he's like, yeah, got this. And like he was really travelling, and I just had to just touch him and say a little bit quicker, and he's like, yep, got that too. And just the way he cornered and then just put Ever Hoping to, you know, to pressure up the straight, he was super impressive.
And just on that, the winner of the other heat, of course, Jaws of Lincoln. What do you make of him? He's a bit of a speed machine, isn't he?
Oh, look, he's a lovely horse, and I was lucky enough to actually sit behind him a few runs ago, and I know his ability. It's going to be a really good match race, no matter who ends up where at the start. So, yeah, they're 2 very, very good horses.
Moving into the 3-year-old Trotters final, you have a horse in this, well named My Bad Habits, but when it's not putting in its bad habits, this horse has a lot of ability, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You have
he
a really
certainly
good
does.
connection with this horse.
And hopefully it stays like that. Yeah, no, he is a lovely little trotter. I did drive him very quiet when we won the Derby, I'm sure it was. We didn't have any early speed, but that was okay. I just let him follow them around and got clear air about halfway down the back and just sat there and off he went. So it's nice when you're that confident. Obviously tonight it's a little bit harder, but you know, as long as he does everything right, he'll be a good challenge.
And talking about challenges, this horse really in the last is race 8 is the 2-year-old trotter. So far doesn't seem like a challenge at all. What a beautiful trotter. Does everything right. Looks safe, looks like a really nice, and loves the mobile. This horse, Jill Nelson's done a great job with both of these horses, obviously the runner-up as well, but Skew Whiff, hasn't it been a delight from the start? Like, what a good start to its career.
Yeah, she's always just been one of those horses that just trotted. I remember even when Dad broke her in, she's just so cruisy, so well-mannered, and she's brought that all the way through, you know, through her preps, and you know, to her credit, she's handled standing start and then also mobile. So, yeah, look, she is lovely. She seems really foolproof. But she's got a good test tonight. There's an interstate runner, and clearly that can run some quick quarters. So that might test her. But to her credit, last week, even when Centillionaire come around, she sort of kicked along because I was a little bit unsure how much I had left.
I saw you look over your shoulder and look who it was and look that you were like, I've got this covered. And I saw you just go, yep, you're all right, girl. And you just sat and gave her a little switch and she just extended.
Yeah.
You didn't really have to do much at all. It looked quite easy. But I did see you have a look and go, okay, it's making ground on me and, oh, no, I've got this covered. And she just gave you more as you asked. It's
Exactly,
really genuine.
exactly. Yeah, she did. She lifted herself, and I thought that's nice because it's still within her to show a little bit more speed. But she might have to, you know, pull out something else tonight. If Sequence does trot the whole way, it's going to be a really good challenge.
Sure.
Yeah, with a horse that's sort of new to the pool, I guess, like Sequence, do you go back and look at any replays of it and get a bit of a feel for what kind of horse it is? Do you analyse sectional times, or do you just worry about your own horse?
I do like to worry about my own horse, but I have probably analysed more sectional times the last couple of days of what I've probably done in years. But, you know, the thing is, I suppose the 2-year-old trotter's aim in the game is just trot. If you trot, you're half a chance. And I know my girl's ability, so we'll be out there to give it our best shot.
Right.
All right, Danny, just before you go, you've won the 2-year-old Colson Geldings Southern Cross Final in 2016 on a horse called Stars of Courage. Do you remember that?
Absolutely.
Exciting night for you?
Oh, absolutely. He beat Emain Macca that night, so that was always a very, very big one. But yeah, he's always been a lovely horse. I was very lucky to be able to sit behind him.
For sure. Sorry, this race is not new to you. We'll go through them just quickly before you leave us. He's the one in the Southern Cross 3-year-old. What Emma's got in the Southern Cross 2-year-old in 2014. You also then had Tuppence, which is obviously the same stable, which is good. Bella Donna Girl also actually flying at the moment in America.
Yeah.
So really good story there. Gone to America and winning races over there. I'm not sure how to pronounce this one.
Safrique.
Safrique for the 3-year-old in 2018. Golden Nursery in between, and then you've also had On the Scotch in 2005. What a really good affinity you have with this race. It looks like you could be racking up a few more tonight.
Let's hope so. I won't be too confident until I get them over the line, because like I said, it's racing. Anything can happen. I do have good quality horses.
Sure.
I'm in a very good position going in. Let's just get them around safe and give them the best chance.
For sure. Good luck, Danny. You have a really good affinity with this race. You've got good drives for good reason, because, you know, you're a good driver and you're the best at your job, and we wish you all the best tonight, and hopefully we're talking to you again after you've driven a few minutes.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Good luck, Danny. We're going to go to a quick break and we'll bring back Lockie for a preview of race 3.
We're back here on the Southern Cross live stream here on behalf of Harness Racing SA and John Rothe Video. Great to be back, and we've got the first of our big features coming up. Mel, Group 3 level.
Yeah.
This is the 2-year-old Pacing Fillies Southern Cross Series final, and we've got a local hope here on top. Sunshine and Rainbows $1.35 the odds on it, but of course under the new system all these horses are basically SA trained.
Yes.
As far as the 2-year-olds is concerned. Intriguing race, but the market really leaning between the 5-year Sunshine and Rainbows.
Yeah, for sure. It's an impressive horse. It takes a little bit of driving by Dean Girardi last week. He really had to earn his driver's fee, didn't he? But it's high speed. It's got a nice turn of foot, and in the straight, you know, if it's thereabout, it's going to obviously put on a real good show. But obviously, race 3 is going to be an exciting one. Layla's Princess looks a likely leader, as it did last week. Changed the driver's tactics a little bit last week, let it run along a little bit quicker, so she didn't have the repeat of the week before, where obviously this horse came across and took the lead off of them. So yeah, interesting to see what the tactics will play out here and what Dean will do with Sunshine and Rainbows.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice horse.
Yeah.
No exception. We spoke about the Cavalari's in Italy. They've got the first starter for them in the race 2. It has won Supercharged. Look like it's back in form. Brilliant drive by Greg Rogers. Dean Girardi obviously takes the drive on this one. Dean got married today. Congratulations, Dean. I hope you had a good day. And he's coming to drive in a Southern Cross final tonight. But yeah, let's go through it, Lachie, and see what your thoughts are. Race 3. We're sponsored by Alabar, the 2-year-old Pacing Fillies final. We're going to move into number 1, Miss Poppy's Friend, a regular trainer-driver combination here, Toby Ryan and Lisa Ryan again.
Yeah, roughly of the field here, number 1, Miss Poppy's Friend, at $81 on the tab fixed after opening up at that $41 mark. Drawn the inside, look, recent form of Port Pirie and here at Globe Derby as well has been quite good, but yeah, she does look like a roughie here. A place chance at most.
Yeah. If it can sit behind the leader, obviously it should be behind the leader. And yeah, you never know, do you? Yeah,
exactly right.
Yep.
So, yeah, drawing the inside, that's what it has going for it, but is a bit of an alarming drifter as far as the market is
for sure. Number 2, we've spoken about Layla's Princess. We've spoken to Sam Pascoe. She doesn't think it's without a hope tonight. It has got ability. Let's face it, it'll lead. It's got brilliant gate speed. What's your thoughts on Layla's Princess?
Looked really impressive earlier on in the season when she scored her first win. Won by about 5.5 metres, being Miss Poppy's Friend on that occasion, in fact. So, yeah, she's being an interesting horse around the mark. Got gate speed. I think I will go to the top of her tonight. What she can do and how she finishes off is the question mark from there. But definitely a nice up-and-comer from the Clinton Fuller stable, Miss Layla's Princess, number 2.
For sure. Number 3, Luna Rocks. This is Mark Norman, trainer-driver. Interesting, someone said to me this is going to be a really nice horse as a 3-year-old. This horse was a nice run last week.
Yeah, it was, and the trial before that was really good as well. Was a winner of the Globe Derby trials recently, inside time, but shows composure, shows ability, and I do agree with that. I think it will be a nicer horse down the track as a 3-year-old. We'll struggle here tonight though from gate number 3. But at the same time, it's one for the future.
Big ask, isn't it, putting it into a Southern Cross heat first up, and it ran 3rd. So, you know, what else can you ask for this horse? It's in the final.
Being by a neck.
Exactly. Good luck to him. Rally number 4 obviously was a heat winner, Honolulu Lulu. This is Jill Nielsen and Katie Wilson. Jill Nielsen, Katie Wilson. That's a hard one to say. Combining. But this has got this combo's got a good track record, really, haven't they? Won the heat last week, but we've also seen them win a $50,000 final before.
The Silver Salver final.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that was a massive effort. $31,000 of prize money for this horse.
Yep.
For a horse that's only had 2 wins from 9 starts.
Amazing, yeah.
That's an amazing
and it raced good against the boys, didn't it, a little bit? So, yeah, it's a horse that should be around the mark. What's your thoughts?
She might find it a little bit trickier tonight, gate number 4 from that particular draw. Being saying that, she won for that draw last week, smaller field though.
For sure.
So, yeah, I think she might find it a little bit trickier against this field, but it's wrong to rule her out because she was not considered a chance in that Silver Salver final.
Exactly right.
She went around $101 and won it. So
exactly right.
You have to keep her safe here.
Good luck to him as well. Yeah, well done to the team. Obviously, Jeff Eastham is a big supporter of that industry as well. Number 5, Sunshine Rainbows. This is the one we've been talking about. Paul Cavallaro combines with Dean Girardi. This is a family horse. It's owned by the kids. Michael and Izzy own this horse themselves. What can we say about this horse? It does a little bit wrong, doesn't it? But you can't really fault its form.
3 starts for 3 wins.
100%.
3 out of 3. Perfect 10 at the moment.
Yeah.
It's going fantastic. Last week, was concerning for me during a run when I saw that she was facing the breeze, and I thought, oh no, we're going to really see her true colours tonight, because her first 2 runs were a bit easier. She lobbed into the running line her first start, led her second win. Her third win outside the breeze, a tough win, and I'm fully sold on her now. She's a terrific horse on the way up, and I think wherever she lobs tonight, she's going to be in. It's really hard to beat, especially hard to beat.
She took a little bit of driving, didn't she? But once she got to the straight, she showed her class.
Yeah.
It's funny, we spoke to Paul Cavallaro, I think this time last year, and he said, oh, I've got a sweet Lou filly in the stable. You know, and now it's come to the races and it's won 3 in a row. It's a really nice horse, and it's one to watch, isn't it?
If Paul says something about one of his yearlings tonight, let's mark it down.
We'll get in the ownership. We want to share, Paul, whatever you're tipping us from now on. Sunshine and Rainbows, is the favourite and deserves to be. Number 6, always steamed up. Bronte Giorgio, an absolute legend of the sport here. Corey Johnson takes the drive.
No stranger to Southern Cross success also, Bronte. Those, the Melanie ownership.
Bubble and cheese, was it? Something like that?
Yes, great horse, Bubble and cheese.
It was,
but always steamed up here. Gate 6, probably a little bit tough for her tonight. Worked into the final, but got beaten 28.7 metres behind Sunshine and Rainbows last week from Gate 2. So probably a bit of an ask for her tonight, but only a young one. Only had a first career start last week, one of those horses, similar to Luna Rocks. First up in a final, in a heat, I should say. So be interesting to see how she goes, but I think she's one for down the line.
For sure. Number 7, Global Gem, could be similar. This is obviously the brother, Michael Norman, trainer-driver here. So similar. Global Gem might be one to watch for the future. But first up.
Yeah, one start for not for a fourth. Only has had one start before tonight. That was in the heat. Gate 7, a big ask against this field. So Michael Norman does a great job. He's got a better chance later on tonight with St Sebastian looking very promising, so in the 3-year-old troggers, so I'm sure we'll see him across the line first tonight at some stage. But
Mark Curry in this ownership as well as the trotter as well, so good to see him back on board as well.
So best of luck to that team.
Number 8, Martia. Joe Russo and Michael Smith takes the drive.
Yeah, again, another one. She's drawing on the inside of the second row. I think she'll end up 3 back. We'll get a quiet run, so it'll be interesting to see what she can do with that. But at the same time, it's going to be a big ask for her to win after 2 starts over the last month or so. Her first 2 career starts fell into place on both of those occasions. So a big ask as first emergency for her, number 8, Martia, for the Joe Russo team. Frivolity, number 9, comes out. And that means number 10, God's Gift, the horse with Victorian form coming into play.
Yeah, God's Gift for obviously Kelvin Barker and obviously Bailey McDonald's come over to take the drive. Means something, doesn't it? Come over for a few drives, but obviously they think this horse has got a good chance of this. Went good. It's probably, is it the one to watch in this race?
Yes. You look at her recent form, and she's racing in like semi-finals of the Breeders' Crown. So you have to look at that and take something away from it. 10 starts for 1 win, 3 placings, and the draw probably not ideal, but she comes in 1 now with the scratching of Frivolity, number 9. So I think she must be considered. You've got to respect Victorian horses up against South Australian horses.
Yeah, we do. We know their form with us, don't they? They come and take our money usually. So
exactly.
But noticeable, Buckland Park. Obviously, Dave Batty owns this horse. Good luck to Dave. He's a brilliant breeder. He's a great supporter of racing in general, not only in South Australia, but throughout Australia. So
and he does send a lot of horses into the state.
He does, and my brother's one that Jeremy takes a lot for Dave and Jeffrey, and obviously he's brought the other 2 over to support these races as well. Later on with Danielle Hill, Cobber and Elegant. So good luck to him. Hopefully this one might be a surprise packet as well. Yeah,
it'll be very intriguing. We'll have a look at the market now. We'll go down the page. Number 1, Miss Poppy's Friend, is 41 out to 101. Layla's Princess, number 2, $10 into 480. Interesting move there. Obviously, the punters think she's going to lead, which is likely, so be interesting to see what she does when she hits the top. Luna Rocks, number 3, 21 out to 41, being a big drifter. Number 4, Honolulu Ludu, has had some support, 18 out to 21 into $13. Number 5, Sunshine and Rainbows, $1.30 out to $1.35. Little drifter, but very short in the market. Always steamed up, number 6, 34 out to 71, Global Gem. Number 7, 126 out to 151. Off the second row, the emergency, number 8, Martia, 126 out to 151. And God's Gift, number 10, the Victorian, $4 out to 550, but of course owned here in South Australia by David Baggy. But intriguing race. Sunshine and Rainbows, though, all the rage here at $1.30. We talked about Cavallaro and his family before. All of his family are on course here tonight.
They're all here. They're all out for the photo in the previous
supercharged.
race. Good luck to them. The kids own this horse, as we've mentioned. They've won the previous race. The team's on fire. Could go back to back here, race to race double. What's your picks in this? Obviously, you're keeping on top of Sunshine and Rainbows. How can you go past it?
I don't want to keep the conditioning up so far of me losing tonight, but we're going to go with Sunshine and Rainbows, number 5 on top. 3 starts, 3 wins.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that form. Second pick of 4, Honolulu Lulu after a heat win last week. We'll find it a lot tougher tonight, but you just can't discount her.
No, you can't.
My third pick for 10, God's Gift, the one probably worth something each way at $5.50. Would definitely probably be running a place at least.
Sure.
And my fourth pick for 2, Layla's Princess. Look, she's going to lead, but I think this is a big, big task for her tonight. 5, 4, 10, 2 in race number 3.
Yeah, for
Our
sure.
2-year-old fillies, first final of the night at Group 3 level, $30,000, and it's going to be a very good race.
This is a good race. It's no exception to the rest of the card, is it, Lachlan? There's some really exciting races come up, but this is the first one. We want to see what these horses can do. The 2-year-old fillies are exciting. This horse is no exception, number 5, but probably if you like something, maybe go with a place bet for something of a roughie with a bit of value.
Yeah.
Sunshine Rainbows, it
So
should
the
win.
thing
but,
about this is, they are 2-year-old fillies. They're all
sure.
reliably raced. Like, the favourite is $1.35, now $1.30, but has had 3 starts for 3 wins.
Yeah.
You know, this is only her 4th start tonight, so
amazing.
things can go wrong.
Yep, for sure.
Things can happen. You never know what's going to happen in these sorts of races. So
if you like something, stick with it. Have
exactly
something on,
right.
have a couple of dollars.
Exactly right. We have seen rough results in
For
Southern
sure.
Cross finals before. It's not out of the ordinary, and it's very possible. So I'll catch up with the winning driver after this race, Mel. So I'm
sounds
looking forward to
great.
being trackside and catching up with the winner, maybe Dean Girardi. And what about that dedication? Getting married today. And then driving horses at Globe Derby on a Friday night.
If Dino gets the money, can you ask him if he's going back to his reception or is he staying here for the night? I really want to know what
Is
his
a reception
plan is
here?
I don't know where it is. Dean, bring your guys to the track. We'll look after that. But yeah, congratulations, Dino. Hopefully it's a good day all round for you and you can drive a winner in this. But all the connections, good luck in the first of the finals, the 2-year-old pacing fillies.
Yep, the tips here from Jim Jakes. He goes 5, 2, 6 and 10. My numbers here for the third, 5, 4, 10 and 2. So pretty similar there. Let's head up to Jim Jakes for the call now of the 2-year-old fillies Southern Cross final.
And if that's the case, she did test Sunshine and Rainbows till the final 80 metres. So with a slightly easier lead, you'd think it'll make it a bit more competitive. And from the other heat, Honolulu Lulu just beat God's Gift and Luna Rocks. So it was 3 across the track there. There wasn't much between all of them, but their heat was much, much slower time-wise. So the favourite, Sunshine and Rainbows. And the mobile's rounding the bend, and we're just about set to go. A little bit back at the start was Luna Rocks, who blew it in the early part of the score up, but she'll be okay. She'll go to position 3, all right. Expect speed from number 2, Layla's Princess. Luna Rocks showed gate speed last week as well. Set. Away. Has to tickle up Layla's Princess, but she'll get across. Luna Rocks comes across with her. Sunshine and Rainbows is 3 wide as God's Gift pushes through from the second row. And he's got to restrain the favourite and go back closer to the tail end of the field rather than push on and go up outside this leader. Behind the leader is Miss Poppy's Friend. Then in turn, in the 1 out, 1 back was God's Gift. Lead time was 12.6. 3 back the inside as they go down the back straight was Martia. A margin of around about 8 metres then to Honolulu Lulu. On the inside of it was Global Gem. Here comes the favourite now, starting to stretch out strongly, Sunshine at Rainbows, and Girardi's trying to get up outside the leader before the bend comes up, but it's not going to happen. And she went roughly, she galloped. Favourite galloped for a stride or two because coming out from the 1-1 was God's Gift and impeded her progress. And now the favourite goes back to last placing, and Always Steamed Up is just in front of her. So God's Gift went back into the 1-1 there after checking the favourite. So favourite punters have reached for the rosary bead somewhat, and Layla's Princess is out in front, leads away by 4 metres. In second placing on the outside, Luna Rocks. On the inside, Miss Poppy's Friend. Going back into the 1-1 was God's Gift. On the inside, Martia. Behind those, Honolulu Lulu. Back on the inside of those was Global Gem. Then we've got All Steamed Up, and the favourite, Sunshine and Rainbow. She's back in last placing, but it wasn't necessarily her fault. 30.3 the second section, identical to the first. 60.6. Sam's going to let Layla's Princess slide down the back out out in front by 5 metres. Sticking to her back was Miss Poppy's Friend. Now God's Gift leaves the 1-1 to come 3 wide again and making some progress. Honolulu Lulu's trying to follow it through. On the inside was Martia. Dropping out was Luna Rocks. Kicking away Layla's Princess. She's out in front. 29 for the third quarter. She leads away by 7 metres. Miss Poppy's Friend in second placing. She has been known to carve up the leader. Sam's working on a Layla's Princess. She can tippy-toe, but she's got 8 metres on Miss Poppy's Friend, who's trying hard. Layla's Princess in front. Layla's Princess is going to lead all of the way. Layla's Princess goes on to win and does it by 10 metres. Miss Poppy's Friend second. God's Gift was third. Behind those in fourth placing, Honolulu Lulu. Then we had Always Steamed Up. A margin then to Luna Rocks. Following those through was Martia. The favourite, Sunshine and Rainbow, she beat one home, and racing on her outside was Global Gem. Layla's Princess leads all of the way. She looked the main danger to the favourite. The favourite got into trouble, and she was good enough to take first prize. Number 2, Layla's Princess, has been too good. Bay Filly 2 years by Better Than Cheddar out of Bubba's Princess. Raced by AJ Fuller and Clinton Fuller training. Sam Pascoe, the winning driver. Overall time, 2:11.4. The mile rate, 1:57.5. The lead time, 12.6. The quarters, 30.3, 30.3, 29, and 29.3. Last mile, 1:58.9. They went 60.6, came home in 58.3. 2, 1, 10 and 4. 2, 1, 10 and 4, the judges' numbers. 2, 1, 10 and 4. Fifth goes to number 6. 11 metres the winning margin. 1 metre between second and third. 11 by 1. 2:11.4 the gross time. The mile rate 1:57.5. So Layla's Princess taking first prize here. Second, number 1, Miss Poppy's Friend. Bay Filly 2 years, well set out of Hannah again. Lisa Ryan for Toby Ryan. Third goes to number 10, God's Gift. Bay Brown Filly 2 years, Art Major flag bearer. Bailey McDonough for Kelvin Barker. Fourth goes to 4. And that was Honolulu Lulu, Katie Wilson for Jill Nielsen. And fifth, number 6, Always Steamed Up, Corey Johnson for Bronte Giorgio. No all clear, take note. No all clear, Layla's Princess, $4.80 and $1.40. Miss Poppy's Friend, $3.70. God's Gift, $1.50. Quinella, 2 and 1, $52.30. Exacta, 2 and 1, $56.80. The Trifecta, 2, 1, 10, $200.50. No all clear at this stage. Stand by for more in the presentation. Here's Lachlan, Stace.
Top early, and she's been a massive winner here tonight. A massive performance there by Layla's Princess. Getting up at a decent price as well. Opened up at a $10 mark and was backed in quite considerably there. So we're going to try and catch up with winning driver Samantha Pascoe now, who's joining us on the stream the second time tonight. Sam Pascoe, well done, congratulations. Layla's Princess here, a nice promising filly on the rise, and her gate speed is good, and she took it to another gear tonight, didn't she?
Yeah, I've got no words. I'm a bit emotional. I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, she's got such good manners, and she's really good in her gate, and her gate speed really wins her. Was one of her races. Yeah, I'm really.
Where does this rate in your career so far? Obviously, only driving for a couple years. A Southern Cross win at Group 3 level. Does this go to the top of the charts?
Yeah, for sure. The only other feature I won was the Gula Derby a couple of years ago for Clinton as well. We sort of missed out on the Southern Cross that year because Lucas broke down, so this kind of makes up for that, I suppose, for both of us.
Well done, Sam. Congratulations. Samantha Pascoe taking out the 2-year-old fillies Southern Cross there with Layla's Princess for trainer Clinton Fuller. Presentation very shortly.
Welcome back to the Harness Racing SA Southern Cross live stream tonight. We just saw the first of our Group 3 finals taken out by Layla's Princess for trainer Clinton Fuller, driven to perfection there by Samantha Pascoe. And just hearing over the PA, now we have a protest.
Protest, wow.
So we're trying it.
At the 1,000 metre mark.
At the 1,000 metre mark,
There
so
you go.
is that the favourite protesting? But
I think
No. We'll try and find out more
we'll get some more information on the protest for you.
Yeah.
That's very interesting
Yes.
at the 1,000 metre mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But obviously,
Should have gone on air about a minute later then.
yeah, we'll get some info on that. But
Yeah.
lucky fitting, we spoke to Sam and she gave her good hope, didn't she? Like she really
went
did.
to script, didn't it?
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
just touch on the favourite there for a moment? Talk us through what happened there. Obviously, Dean Girardi went back early, but then got into a bit of trouble when he made that mid-race move.
I don't think it was necessarily the horse's fault there. I think it was just a little bit of unlucky interference. The horse got back down and pacing quickly enough, but by that point in time, we lost too much ground to work back into the race. And especially where you have a horse like Layla's Princess out in front bowling along like it was.
And keep in mind, it's a 2-year-old filly.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly,
mean? Like
that's
it's
right.
had, we spoke about this before, it's had 3 race
Yeah.
starts. It's obviously a really nice high-speed horse. Things can go wrong in these these races with the babies, and that's exactly what happened. God's Gift, I think maybe they were tussling for the same spots. I'm not sure if that's what the protest is about. We'll try and find out a bit more.
Yeah.
But, and you picked it, Miss Poppy's Friend was behind the leader, was quite brave in defeat, wasn't
Yeah,
it, for
it
a little
was.
horse?
Yeah.
Really kept coming on the line, and number 10, God's Gift, rating to third was quite a nice run as well.
I thought God's Gift was always going to run a place, but Miss Poppy's Friend, $3.70 for the place
Amazing.
on the tab tote.
Yeah.
Obviously had that draw, and Port Pirie and Globe Derby form had been quite good. So it shows if you're a roughie, gate 1, sometimes it's worth something each way, because usually a horse can work into the finish if they sit behind the leader. So well done to the Fuller team. I spoke to Samantha Pascoe out there on course, and she mentioned how this was probably the highlight of her career so
Has to
far,
be.
taking out a Group 3 event. But her other success was with Sir Lucas in the Gawler Derby
For
a couple of
sure.
years back on a 3-year-old there, and
For the
that
same
was with
trainer.
Clinton Fuller. So both of her feature
done.
race winners have
Yeah.
been provided by Clinton Fuller. So
Yeah.
obviously a very strong combination, Samantha Pascoe and Clinton Fuller, and that's a combination that must be respected at all South Australian meetings going forward, because they're having some good success together.
Yeah, Captain only has a couple of horses in work
Yeah.
too. He doesn't have a big team, does he? Always just has like one horse, and they go well. You know,
Yeah.
he looks after them and they go well. Obviously, he's been in the game for a long time and has 1 or 2 horses, but I always see him on track helping someone as well. He's
Yeah.
bringing a bike over for
Yeah.
someone, or he's helping George Smith or
Yeah.
something. So good luck to him. He's been in the game a long time. He's one of the underdogs. Let's
Yes.
face it. He's an underdog of the sport. Well done, Capo. We're all happy for you. I saw him down there. He was wrapped, and
Yeah.
this is what it's about, isn't it? This is our industry. We need the battlers need something. That's something for the
That's
battlers.
right, and Clinton, and he was just saying about his the owner of that filly, his dad, and who's in a wheelchair and actually lost his leg
has, yeah.
not too long ago.
Yeah.
So,
And he's a legend as well. We've
and
all
he's a
seen
bit
him
of- yes.
around for as long as we've known. He's been around, and I did see him recently in a wheelchair with his obviously amputated his leg. Had a really bad run of luck, but let's hope that he was at home watching this and it's made his night. And yeah, good luck to him. Yeah, I love to see the battlers get
Yeah.
some cash,
Yeah.
and this is just no exception. Well done.
And this is where these new conditions become so important, because it's getting money back in to local owners and local trainers here in
Yeah.
South Australia, and we've just seen it come into effect with our first 2-year-old fillies race. Of course, a South Australian trainer taking our Southern Cross event, $30,000 of prize money overall. Obviously, a considerable amount of that goes to the winner. So to see that prize money stay in South Australia is such an important thing for our sport,
100%.
and it's so important going forward with the Southern Cross, and of course our SA Cup series as well, which has similar conditions in place to make sure the money stays in South Australia.
Yeah, while we're touching on that, Dean, let's give us an update. Obviously, we've changed slightly the Southern Cross conditions to favour our horses here and look after our own state. But run us through that firstly, what the changes are and how it benefits our locals.
That's right. So for this year, those changes have been implemented for the 2-year-olds, and next year it'll be the 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds moving forward. So essentially, this came from that desire to really reward those that support harness racing in South Australia, and there's so many different categories of owner, and we want to be able to get that right and not leave anyone out, but we also want to make it fair and rewarding for those that do race here. So that was the thought process behind it, but certainly for any horse that's born or bred here, they're automatically eligible. But then we make it very easy for horses that might have been purchased at a yearling sale by a South Australian trainer or have been sent over here in another way, shape or fashion that are with an SA trainer. They're all eligible. And I guess those, we still have the door ajar for interstate horses that want to be domiciled here in the months leading up to Southern Cross. So that's another way to keep that door ajar maybe for those owners that sort of might fit that category, that might, you know, have bred them just over the border and for whatever reason raised them there and might want to race them early days in Victoria for whatever reason. So it is very enticing. And I know in previous years we've had a bit of analysis done on where this prize money in feature races has gone to, and call it about $1.8 million in recent years of prize money. You know, 1.5 of that has exited the state, that hasn't gone back into our ecosystem. So that's a lot of prize money there that's disappeared.
Yes.
And whilst that, you know, short term you might get the slightly better horses, what's actually happening, they're actually dominant horses that are reducing wagering, the connections, and good luck to them, and there's some great people, wonderful people involved, but they've got lots of other avenues as well. And then we get in a situation where, you know, our locals don't have that opportunity to run for good prize money, and they're sort of getting, for lack of a better term, sort of beaten up. So we've moved the goalposts a little bit, and I still made it, look, if you want to support SA Racing, even if it's for a couple of months leading into it, by domiciling your horse here, that's the bare minimum that you need to do. Otherwise, just make sure it's with a South Australian trainer or it's bred here. And it can be bred here and then go interstate and come back whenever it likes as well. So there's definitely flexibility with it.
Yearling sales coming up in March. Maybe get on board, get a group together and then pick yourself out a yearling.
Just quickly on that protest, it was 4th versus 3rd. So Honolulu, Caggie Wilson, challenging the drive, number 10, God's Gift, Bally and McDonough. So that's 4th versus 3rd, that protest in race number 3,
at the 1,000 metre mark,
at the 1,000 metre mark. So we'll have more information on that.
So if you're on the winner, keep doing your happy dance, because it won't affect you.
Will be relieved. He can have a big sigh of relief down there, I'm sure, and that horse is basically left out untouched.
And the second horse, Miss Bobby's Friends, massive job. And Toby and Lisa support every meeting, don't they? Like, they're going to Port Pirie, unlucky on Tuesday night, flat tyre on the way. I did pass them, I stopped, I couldn't do anything to help them, but I did stop and ask, and they made it to the meeting in the end and still managed to get a double. They took a truckload of horses, you know, they're supporting the clubs everywhere. They bring a group of horses to every meeting, and this is what we need. We're not going to have these meetings without these guys, and good luck to them. They've run a nice race in the second, and
still a big chunk of prize money for second placing as well.
They'll be really happy with that horse, I think, and good luck to them. They do a great job.
Yeah, I think battlers finishing in the first two.
But that's the spirit. That's what we want Southern Cross to become in the future. Like, we want to reward, as you said, you know, people that have had a long-standing interest in the game, people that are take horses all across the state, like Toby and Lisa do. So rewarding that on a big night with some extra prize money is what it's all about. And I must say, it's a bit of a confidence boost for Sam. Like, when we were speaking with her, and like, everything went according to plan, what she said pre-race in terms of tactics. So for her to be able to get nearly a career best win on the eve of that trip to Victoria, it'll give her that confidence, because I think the way she was talking, like, oh, I'm a bit of a small fish in a big pond, but you never know. If you get the right drives, then you've got to have the confidence to be there, put the horse in the right spot, and you just never know what happens.
She says this, but she's at Mildura every week. She's up against these guys weekly. She can do it. She knows she can do it. So, like you said, confidence boost for her. She's got the ability. Let's hope that she can get some luck on her side and some good horses and some good draws. We're moving into race 4 though, in 12 minutes. Do we want to run through that quickly while you wait for the protest?
Yeah, we'll go and we'll find out more information about that, but we'll have a look at race 4. This is the 3-year-old fillies Southern Cross final, our first 3-year-old big Group 3 final of the night. We've got Colts and Geldings to follow a little bit later on. And just on that, the Colts and Geldings race number 6 for the 3-year-olds, looks like the most impressive race of the night. But we have a look at race 4 for the 3-year-old fillies, and we have a very short price favourite here with number 8, Elegant, going around with $1.15. But probably the main danger is drawn 1, Honeybun.
Honeybun was impressive last week, wasn't it? It really chased the line well. It was good value. I was up here with a couple of boys that said they backed it to run a place because it was such good value, and it really hit the line well. It was impressive. Come from a long way back. Jill Nielsen does a great job with the horses. We know this. So Sam Pascoe in form now. What do you think, Lockie?
Yeah, look, the inside draw will help. Her runs since returning from a spell have been really good, so I think she must be considered here from gate number 1. If something goes wrong with the favourite Elegant, and that's the question mark here, because Elegant's sort of drawing on the inside of the second row, is going to be crowded early, is going to need a little bit of luck to switch off the pegs. If Honeybun leads, then it makes it a little bit more easier for Elegant.
For sure.
But I tell you what, if Elegant gets clear room early and moves one off, it depends what Danny tries to do there, then she's going to be winning by a big margin. But if Elegant is stuck or something doesn't go her way, then Honeybun is obviously the next big danger.
So guys, just on that, tactically, does a horse like Honeybun give up the lead and might put itself not in the ultimate position, but to put Elegant in a more disadvantageous position, 3 back the pegs? Do you, or if you've got the lead, and do you just take it? And
Yeah.
Oh, I think Danny will try and come off the fence if she can.
Yeah, I think
it's
she
going to
will.
be.
Yeah.
It's obviously might be a hard task, but
Yeah, she does have 2 horses to her outside off the second round.
100%. She's got 2 horses outside. Lulu Quick is a nice horse. Don't get me wrong, but can do a little bit wrong as well.
We
I don't
saw
think
that
it
last
would
week.
exactly
Yeah.
right. So I don't think it would take much for her to come off if she can. Danny's a good driver. If she can get in the clear, she will. If not, I think if she's on the fence, she'll weave a passage at some stage. She's got the talent to do so. It's clearly the class runner of the race. But yeah, how this race pans out is really gonna.
There's not an awful amount of quick beginners off the
For
front
sure,
row.
yeah.
So Honeybun should just lead by default based off the gate 1 draw. But
Yep.
we might get a surprise here. Horse like Sadie Jane might be doing
Jane,
a
yeah,
bit
for sure.
better, drawn gate 4. But we'll go down the page a bit more. Number 2, Elegant Air, Ryan Rohoric. Very consistent numerical form here, 2-2-1-1-3.
Yeah.
But has been racing his Monday class, and it's a lot tougher for her tonight. But again,
Daniel Hill obviously drives this horse as well usually.
Yeah.
Ryan's taking the drive himself tonight. There's obviously a reason he has Daniel on this
Yeah.
horse, as he usually does. But he's taken the drive himself. It's got good form. It wasn't really disappointing in the heats, was it? It
Yeah.
was quite good in defeat.
she's a bit one-paced,
Yep.
but when she's right, she can run a good, tough, honest race. So
For sure.
Elegant Air must be considered. The 3 Seafly, a bit of a roughie here for the Greg Howard stable.
Yep.
Greg only having 1 or 2 horses here and there down in the southeast. So well done to him for making a final with Seaflyer.
I was just talking to Greg
Yeah.
in the Botcha room. He was pretty excited. He's just got this horse back from Victoria, and he thinks she's actually got a really nice future, and probably in the deep end tonight. But he's really excited to have a runner, and he's mapped out a bit of a plan to be able to pinch his Southern Cross bonus, and where we were talking about programming and everything moving forward. So if she can run a good, even, honest race tonight, I think there's a win around the corner. This might be a good little stepping stone to a little drop back in class next time.
Number 4, Sadie Jane, obviously, Elise Finnis and Jason takes the drive. A good combination here. They always have a nice horse, don't they? But this was a nice heat winner. Obviously, Elegant was in the other heat, but it did its job, and it did it quite well.
Well, we can't forget the Finnis team last year with Emma Hoping in the Southern Cross finals.
Yeah.
So obviously Emma Hoping going around tonight against a much tougher field, but was a massive winner in the Southern Cross 2-year-old Colts and Geldings final last year. Sadie Jane, interesting form, this horse, because its Globe Derby form is terrific.
Yes.
Last 2 wins have been at Globe Derby, excellent runs, one in the Drivers' Championship, one in the heat of the Southern Cross,
sure.
and then the Victorian form in between that was not much to look at.
for
So
sure. Agreed.
loves Globe Derby. So based off that, can't be discounted off the front row. And
something
it'll be interesting to
each
see
way.
how she begins,
Yeah.
Sadie Jane, because
True.
she's a bit of a smoky with her gate speed. So it'll be interesting to see how she comes off the arm and whether she's going to challenge for the lead.
Number 5, obviously, we've spoken about this Jill Nielsen combo. She's got another runner in this big Black Betty. Wayne Hill takes the drive. This horse is quite consistent as well, and need a little bit of luck from 5, but
I have a high opinion of this horse. I think she'll get better as she gets older.
Agreed,
She'll
yeah.
definitely go through her grades quite well here at Globe Derby racing on Mondays, and I think she will improve as she goes on, and I think she's definitely one to keep an eye on going forward, especially if she gets an easier field over the next couple of weeks, because she's starting to get to the peak of her preparation, and I think racing in races like this will toughen her up a bit.
for sure. Tuscan Delight, number 6, is Don and Dean Girardi combination. Obviously, we said Dean got married today. Looking for a winner here on Tuscan Delight.
Don't think he's going to get it here.
Sorry, Dino.
$126, gate number 6.
Yep.
A horse is really just learning the ropes here.
Yep.
She'll be going around to make up the numbers tonight, but in saying that, she has shown patches of the trials, so she's definitely one to keep an eye on going forward. And I think all of these horses that make this final tonight, or make all of these finals, no matter what price, are definitely one that will probably pop up in the next couple of weeks or next season when they
For sure.
return from a spell after this series. will win a race on a Monday here and start to develop more and more.
Better and better. Call for Rain, number 7. New addition to the David Harding stable. Hadn't had it long before the heat, but held its own in the heats last week.
Yes.
Didn't do a lot, but it actually ran on not bad. Michael Smith takes the drive.
I think this is probably my best roughie for the night. Best each way. $81 for the win, $6 for the place. We have to remember that stable, David Harding.
Amazing, yeah.
His horses that he gets from interstate usually takes him a couple of weeks to work him out. This one probably isn't ready to win tonight by any means, but she's definitely a place chance.
He hadn't had it long before the heats, but like you said, he's rushed into the heat. You have to. It's a cross.
Exactly.
You've got to put it in the heat. It's made the
She's
final.
had another week. He's had another week with her.
He's had another week on board. David does a great job. Les does a great job. So yeah, you can't dismiss this horse. I didn't think it was that bad a run last week. I thought it went good.
Market update. It's 100 to 1 now.
101.
You can get your hundreds.
Get on, Lachlan.
Get on, Lockie's long shot. We should make this every week.
Have a bit of each way. Number 8 obviously is the favourite, Elegant. Jeff Webster, Danielle Hill, we've spoken to her. She was really wrapped with this horse last week, and so she should be. Let's say Jeff, ex-South Australian, bringing the horses back here for Dave Batty and the Buckland Park team. Good luck to him. This horse is the one to beat. That barrier draw makes it a little bit tricky, but it's obviously the class runner.
Only concern is the draw here.
Yep.
If she gets any sort of clear space or clear air, it's game over, game set match.
She got into $1.08 2 minutes ago, and it's just eased out to $1.10. Like, actually, as we speak, $1.05. Fixed odds with the TAB, $1.05. That's 20 to 1 on in the old, and prohibitive odds. And you'd have to say that her biggest danger is bad luck, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure. Number 10, Lulu Quick. Obviously, we know the Tyson Linky team. Tyson, obviously, with Cypher, but Corey Johnson takes the drive. We mentioned it did a little bit wrong last week, but still managed to run third. It was still honest to the line. Needs to do everything right, but not a horse that lacks ability.
No, if she paces smoothly, she's a place chance. But I was quite disappointed with her last week when she made that blunder.
Yeah, for sure.
Hanging
Looked
down
her
the
race
back
to win,
because
didn't it? Yeah.
I thought she was unbeatable last week
Same,
almost for that inside draw. So a little bit disappointed, but hopefully she can bounce back tonight. For the Linky team, again, a place chance probably at most.
Can I just say something about her driver, Corey Johnson? I think he's probably the most improved driver in the state almost. He's driving so well. You can see he's processing the race, and he's analysing it tactically. He's got good hands. He knows he's got a bit of a clock in his head. He knows how fast he's going. And you just for someone at that age, if he keeps his head screwed on, in 3 or 4 years' time, he's probably maybe a Sam Pascoe in 3 or 4 years' time that's competing on the national stage in the Young Drivers' Championships.
Yeah, I don't even think it'll take him that long. Corey has 4 drives tonight. What a great thrill for a kid that's 19. Like, it's amazing that these guys have given him a chance to have a drive on a night like tonight. Well done to him. Like, they've given this lad a go. Obviously, he drives them week in, week out. Why shouldn't he? So, yeah, well done for sticking with him. Obviously, they had options of other drivers. They've stuck with him, and why wouldn't you? He's doing a great job. Like you said, he's really well improved, and deserves to be really proud. I totally agree with you, but he's got the 4 drives. Good luck to him. Sorry, the last one quickly.
Good to see he's trying to supporting young drivers as well.
For sure, 100%.
In South Australia. And Allwyn Franco, number 11, was a winner at Mildura a couple of weeks back, but 101 out to $151.
Yeah, Peter Borelli and David Smith obviously combining with that one. Lockie, do I have to ask you, what are you tipping in race 4?
I've gone with 8 Elegant. Looks very hard to beat here. Again, draw is the only concern, any sort of clear room. We've seen Gonzongies get rolled tonight already.
We've seen it already.
$1.04 now.
$1.04. That's saying unbeatable.
We've mentioned before that they're babies. They are babies. These guys have had a little bit extra time. This guy's had racing. Elegant's had a lot of racing with Jeff over in Victoria. They do have a little bit more, obviously, in their favour, don't they, as far as the two-year-olds did. But they're still babies, let's face it. So anything can happen. But yeah, there is a couple of roughies in there. Lockie's roughie there, number 7.
Yeah, give us a trifecta, hey?
Each way, 8-1. I've gone 8-1-7-2 as my top 4. But I think Honeybun will run second from the inside draw. Call for Rain. It's going to be that sort of race. If Elegant gets clear room, it's going to win by 30 metres. So they're going to be plogging it out and slugging it out for second and third. Call for Rain should get a quiet run back in the field, and with a week of improvement with David Harding, I think we'll be running third. So I think is worth something.
Definitely
at $6 a place on the tab fixed. Obviously $151 to win. Forget about the win, but definitely a place hope here.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Jimmy's on track. Will we have an update on that protest in the lines?
Yes, we do. It's all clear. Protest dismissed. Numbers stand 2-1-10-4 after the 2-year-old fillies final. Jim Jakes, his tips here for the 3-year-old fillies. He goes 8-1-2-3. Let's head to him for the call of the 3-year-old fillies Southern Cross final, sponsored by Alabar for 2022.
the second row. Another short price favourite going around here. Our previous race, short price favourite Found Trouble, Sunshine and Rainbows. So let's hope favourite punters can bounce back here. Mobile picking up speed. 2022 Alabar 3-year-old Pacing Filly Southern Cross Series final. Set to go. Ready now. Honeybuns right up on the mobile. Sam's got her out well. She's trying to hold off the challenges of Sea Flyer, and he's able to do that. And Danny's pulled back at the start straight away. She's back in last place with Elegant, but Honeybun out in front. The danger to the favourite. So there's already 25 metres between them. Sea Flyer is outside the leader, and getting on the leader's back was Lulu Quick. So that'll be a good position for her. Then in turn behind those in the 1-1 is Elegant Air. Off the track was Sadie Jane trying to squeeze in, but still 3 wide, looking to press forward and get outside the leader. And Sea Lover's happy to take that cover. Alwyn Franco 3 back the inside as they sort out their posies. Then Big Black Betty. Elegant settles down behind those as they start to drop anchor. Getting up on the inside was Call for Rain, and at the tail end of the field was Tuscan Delight. So matter of when Danny makes a move, and it's right now actually. And coming out in front of it was Elegant Air to go and try and get outside the leader and get 1-1 cover from the favourite. Predicting that Honeybun will try and hold the lead, but he goes up quickly with Elegant Air and tries to burn off Honeybun, and he's just about done it as well, Ray Horrocks. So he'll grab hold and he'll take the sit behind Elegant now, I'd say. So Elegant Air out in front, and now Elegant coming forward, and Danny will keep pressing till she finds the front. I'm certain about that. 46.4 for the lead time, and all of a sudden Honeybun's gone from a good position to a very awkward position. 3 back the inside. On the outside was Sadie Jane. Behind those on the inside was Lulu Quick. First quarter 30.4. Sea Lover's got the 1-1, then Big Black Betty, Alwyn Franco. Back behind those was Call for Rain and Tuscan Delight at the tail end of the field. Well, a lot's changed in the previous time they came around to see us, and out in front it's the favourite Elegant. She leads away. Elegant Air in second placing. Honeybun is in third. On the outside, Sadie Jane facing the breeze about 15 metres from the favourite. On the inside, Lulu Quick. 1-1 Sea Flyer, but she's 25 metres from the favourite. The others back on the inside, led by Alwyn Franco. Big Black Betty, still Call for Rain second last, and Tuscan Delight struggling to keep up. 600 to go. 30.4 the second section. 60.7. Elegant in front by 5 metres. In second placing, Elegant Air. Honeybun gets into the clear. Lulu Quick's trying to follow it through. Sadie Jane's holding on gamely in fifth placing, but she's flat out. And Danny sitting quietly on the favourite here, Elegant. Honeybun gets to second, about 12 metres from the leader. On the inside, Elegant Air's running out of gas. Around the outside, Lulu Quick's challenging her for third prize. Alwyn Franco's a rough first 4 chance, sneaking up on the inside, but the two favourites have got 1-2 in there keeping, and Elegant's going to be too good. She's starting to scoot away now. Honeybun's trying hard in second placing, but Elegant wins in a breeze. Goes on to win by 15 metres. Second, Honeybun. Lulu Quick third. Fourth, yeah, pretty tight. Alwyn Franco on the inside, Elegant Air on the outside, and I think they got it just in front of Sea Flyer. Then in turn behind those, we had Big Black Betty, Call for Rain, pulling up quickly Sadie Jane, and the last one home was Tuscan Delight. Favourite too good, Elegant. Good drive to move around the outside, and I suppose the surprise was Elegant Air was able to burn off Honeybun and get across in front of it, take the sit. Honeybun's ended up getting into second placing, and Lulu Quick will grab third. It'll be 8, 1 and 10, and it's a photo for fourth placing between Elegant Air and also Alwyn Franco. Overall time 2:43.1. The mile rate 1:57.7. The lead time 46.4. The quarters 30.4, 30.3. 28.1, 27.9, last mile 156.7, they went 60.7, and she dashed home in 56. 14 metres by 14 metres the margins, 8, 1, 10, 11, 8, 1, 10, 11, and fifth goes to 2, so Alwyn Franco gets in for fourth, 8, 1, 10, 11, fifth goes to number 2. And she's proven too good for them. Elegant, a Bay filly 3 years by Some Beach Somewhere out of Spokeswoman. Bred and raced by Buckland Park Homestead, managed by DJ Batty, and Danny Hill driving for Jeff Webster. Second goes to number 1, That was Honey Bun, Bay Filly, 3 years. Always Be Mickey out of Damsel Fly. Sam Pascoe for Jill Nilsson. Third goes to number 10, Lulu Quick, Bay Filly, 3 years. Sweet Lou, Real Quick. Corey Johnson for Tyson Linky. Fourth, 11, Alwyn Franco, David Smith for Peter Borelli. Fifth goes to number 2, and that was Elegant Air, Ryan Raharick, trainer driver. On the tote, Elegant, $1.10 and $1. Honey Bun, $1.50, all clear as air. Lulu Quick, $4. Quinella, 8 and 1, $1.40. Exacta, 8 and 1, $1.60. The trifecta, 8, 1, 10, $6.70. The first 4, 8, 1, 10, 11, $70.20. Here's Lachlan Stace trackside with the presentation at race 4.
Gets for prize here for driver Danielle Hill, winning trainer Jeff Webster. Always has a lot of success here in South Australia when it comes down to the Southern Cross juvenile races. So well done to Winning Connections. And we're about to catch up with winning driver Danielle Hill, who spoke to us on the HRSA live stream a little bit earlier on in the evening about her winning chances tonight. And she does have a very good relationship with this Southern Cross race, taking up plenty of these feature finals in the past. So we'll catch up with our leading driver, Danielle Hill, very shortly. Danny, congratulations. Oh. It's easy for you. So we're catching up here with Danielle Hill, winning driver of Elegant after the running of the 3-year-old filly Southern Cross final. Danny, congratulations. Really nice horse, and she has a great look about her as well, doesn't she?
Oh, she is. She's such a beautiful filly, and I feel very privileged to sit behind her.
Yeah, she had the interesting draw tonight inside the second row. How are you feeling hanging in?
Well, I always say you can never be too confident, but when you're going out on her, it's hard not to be quite confident. And yeah, I thought it doesn't really matter where we end up as long as we get us in clear air, and she was just too strong.
Another Southern Cross win for you as well. A great relationship with this race, as we spoke about earlier. So well done to you, and it must feel nice to win another one of these features.
Oh, absolutely.
Well done, Danny. Danielle Hill there on Elegant, who takes out the 3-year-old filly Southern Cross final, trained by Jeff Webster, after the running of race number 4 here tonight at Globe Derby Park.
Welcome back, guys. There we go. We've seen the 3-year-olds now in action. 3-year-old fillies final. Lockie just run up the stairs and getting his breath back. He's doing a lot more work than me tonight. So thanks for that, Lockie. As expected, Elegant was just too good. Brilliant drive by Danny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, tactical drive. Tactical drive by Ryan Horrick, obviously. The horse let him down a little bit there too, but Honey Bun, you still picked the right horses and you had those ones in the market.
At least I got the exacta, but what did the exacta pay? We've got $1.60, so well done if you go on that.
Yeah, well.
Really quick getting up to third for the Linky team. And
Yes.
All in Franco running a bit of an improved race from a tricky draw.
A very improved race, yeah, for
From
sure. Hit the
fourth.
line really well. Lily Quick, we said, a little bit of ability, a lot better run tonight.
It was always going to be that sort of race where something rough was going to be sneaking up the inside or finishing home for a rough placing when Elegant was just going to win as easy as it did. So Dagging was very pleased after the race, and she's just, as Danny said, she's just such a lovely horse to drive.
Nice horse to drive, no exception to obviously the Jeffrey Rebs stable, but that's also her 8th Southern Cross final win. Amazing. Well done, Danny. Well done, Jeffrey, and obviously Dave Batty and the Buckland Park team. Great effort. Now, we have a special guest just sitting here. Sorry, we're chatting away. Introduce Stephen Norman. We've spoken to you before on a live stream. Thanks for joining us again, Stephen, on short notice. Welcome, firstly.
Thank you very much. Yes, I don't know if I'm that special, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks, Mel.
Always a special guest. Firstly, Stephen, let's chat about something that I did not know. Race 3, the 2-year-old pacing fillies, Southern Cross final winner, Layla's Princess.
Yes, we were fortunate enough to breed her. It doesn't appear that way in the race book because we just didn't get the paperwork through, but we were responsible for sending Bubba's Princess, an Art Major mare, to Better Than Cheddar. It was something I'd researched and felt was going to work very well for that mare, and Layla's Princess and later on Major Jod is out of the same mare who's in the 3-year-old colt final. So Layla's Princess had the benefit of the favourite probably not doing as well, but having said that, she's got out and got home in 157.6. 2-year-old filly, that's pretty nice, and who knows, even if the favourite had been on a game, Sunshine and Rainbows, Layla's Princess may still have got the job done.
Yeah, it was a great effort for sure. Have you still got the mare?
We do. We are in partnership with Mario Mazzolino, who actually owns the mare. We leased her for that season to breed her to Better Than Cheddar, with Layla's Princess being the result. So the mare is one of our on-farm residents, of which we have many from the harness racing industry adjusting at Allenby Lodge, and so we will undoubtedly be breeding from her again this season. She's booked to go and has already been bred to Tiger Tara this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's talk about this. Obviously, you have Major Secret standing at your property. Obviously, he's your pride and joy stallion. Looks like he had a good time at the sales last year. Bought some nice money at the local sales.
Yeah, in the South Australian economy, a couple of them selling around and above $10,000. So that was nice for us. And the unfortunate thing that we have for this current season, he's had the one starter, which is a nice filly, but she's no star. And is the fact that he only had 13 live foals in that first season. We got him late and didn't get a lot of promotion. We weren't able to get a lot of promotion into him, and so hence the numbers were small. And so look, anything that happens this season, which we're near the end of, he'll only improve on for next season. There are around, it'll be close to 30 foals from his next crop. With the new Botra Harness Racing SA incentives for early 2-year-old racing, I'd be hoping to see some Major Secrets in those in February and March. It is very good odds, and the filly that he's got racing in Victoria with Damien Burns, she's a nice filly, but they're running around 155, 156, and she's running midfield, which is nice. I was hoping she'd come over, but they've decided to quit with her for the season. That's a major hole in my pocket, and so she's not here for the Southern Cross, but they expect it to be better next season also. But regardless, as I say, whatever happens this year, it'll be better next year for Major Secret.
He's quite affordable too. What is his service fee standing at this year?
$1,500, and that hasn't changed. And we would be hoping that, look, even if he, as I fully expect, we have ultimate faith in the horse that he's going to do the job. Small numbers have counted against him for this first season, but I would expect that even if things do go well, we'll probably keep the service fee around the same price to give our local breeders a chance to come in on the tide.
Tell us about the March yearling sales upcoming in South Australia, Stephen. How many entries have you got, and What's your standout of the bunch?
We have 7 seven that we're preparing in the sale, of which 6 are our own and 1 of a client's. There's probably a number. There's one out of a Christian colour mare called Watch Me Glitter. He's a big strapping fella. First foal of the mare was good, but had injury troubles and only ever had 3 starts. Of particular note for tonight is that we have a half brother out of closure, the Rupert Ross. So we have a half brother to Rupert Ross going through. Very snappy sort of colt, very typey, and he is. I'm sure that he'll get a good deal of attention at the sales on March 26th.
Amazing. Stephen, short notice, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we catch up with you again before the sales and have a little bit of a rundown of the yearlings. You always do a great job with them. If anyone's looking in the market to a major secret, please get in touch with Stephen. Also, we'll see you on track, I'm sure, when the Kapunda meetings start again.
March 12th.
March 12th, Kapunda Cup for the SA Cup Series, which will be a great day there. You always get a good crowd and your committee does a great job, so we'll hopefully see you on trackside. We're going to go to a quick break. Let Stephen sneak out and go get some fresh air because it's really hot in here. And Lachlan and I are going to come back in just a second with a preview of Race 5.
Welcome back to the Harness Racing SA Southern Cross live stream. We're up to the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings Southern Cross final here tonight, and this is over the 1800 metres. We have a field of, as it just scrolls down here, a field of 9 to go around here. Indelible Mace, the emergency, coming out. So, intriguing race, very even, probably one of the more even finals of the night with multiple winning chances here for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings, I should say. Jamaican Rock maintaining favouritism at this stage. Ryan Rohoric with 3 runners here. He has Jamaican Rock, He's All Talk and Nicely Spoken on display. And Jamaican Rock and He's All Talk are 1 and 2 in the market as well.
Yeah, we've seen him run the trifecta in numerous races, or the Cornella in other races, haven't we, in juvenile races. Ryan Rohoric's got a good hand here. These horses are always really nice ability. He does a great job with the horses. Obviously, Wapinka Heritage was also a Rohoric runner previously, now with the Cavallaro team. This race has just got so much ability in it, hasn't it? Like, it doesn't matter whether it's their night to night. Horses like Life is But a Dream has a lot of ability, you know, got a good gate speed. It's going to be a really nice 3-year-old. There's no exceptions in this race. Jamaican Rock, obviously, he takes a bit of driving. Ryan drives him himself, but very high speed. Yeah. Then you've got his back marker on the second row, He's All Talk, which probably is a little bit tougher and can just keep plugging away.
Danny has a high opinion of that horse as well.
She really does. She gets along with this horse really well too, doesn't she? And she's on fire. Can she make it 2 in a row?
We'll find out.
Let's go through them. Curio Crest. This horse has got a bit of ability as well. Toby Ryan, Lisa Ryan from the inside draw. I think it probably easily can get crossed by Life is But a Dream. Doesn't have great gate speed, but maybe can sit up and hold a fence position. Where it's come from behind, it's got good form in period, and like you said, and we saw what the stablemate did in the last, so you never know.
It's been racing consistently lately.
Very much so.
The draws. Miss Poppy's friend, they got earlier on from gate 1.
Yeah.
Like I run for Mum, drawn gate 1 in the opening race, and now Toby Ryan has Kahio Crest here drawn gate 1 as well. So they're getting the luck with the draws tonight, and this is a horse that could possibly run another placing as well from that draw. Don't think it will hunt up and hold the front. Can be a bit erratic sometimes, Kahio Crest, but when it paces smoothly, it can run a consistent, nice, handy race. But last week got very fiery during the score up and broke and it'll be interesting to see what he does tonight with 6 horses drawn to his outside.
Yeah, exactly. Had the break, but still managed to run a 5th. It was a good run at Perry the start before sitting in the breeze, so it was actually quite tough on that win. The other 2 runs before that, it's come from behind, and it was actually put itself into the race really nicely. It has got a bit of ability, this horse. Probably another one to watch for the future. Life Has Been a Dream, number 2. Anthony Robertson, trainer-driver, obviously bred by the late Andrew Gilbert with his wife Julie, the owner. I think the family's on track. Good luck to him. This horse, impeccably bred, isn't it? Like, it's a really nice bred horse, as all the Andrews were. Impressive in its first 2 starts. Didn't really disappoint last week.
Yeah.
It just found a really good race, didn't it?
You can tell this is a special horse to this family. The Gilbert family, obviously being involved in harness racing for a very long time. Best of luck to them here, especially with this horse, Life Has Been a Dream. Has had 3 starts for 1 win, 1 placing. Has been thrown right into the wars basically here, because his first start was up against Jamaican Rock. He got an easier Monday field for start after, and then he was back in the heat of the Southern Cross last week up against Hazel Talk and Wapinga Heritage.
Hard heat for sure.
So he's been up against some of the best 2-year-olds in the state. So he's going to need to lift to win tonight.
Definitely. I think they're going to find the lead. Are they going to change their tactics, though? Obviously led last week and they got run down. 100%. It might be right. Robbo is no idiot to the sport, is he?
No.
He's going to look after this horse. This horse is really one to watch, and I think for a 3-year-old career, don't give up on it. It's going to be a nice horse. Number 3, Nicely Spoken, just got defeated narrowly in the Golden Nursery. Ryan O'Horick, again, the trainer. Michael Smith takes the drive again. Another one that could put itself into the race.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Was a winner 2 starts back, defeating Village Lover by 34.1 metres on a Monday afternoon race. Time wasn't great, but the track was rain affected. The start after that ran 3rd behind Hazel Talk. Only got 1 win under his belt, but he's run some excellent placings. Ran, I think it was 2nd in the Golden Nursery final.
It did, and it was a short half head.
Yeah, exactly right. So
yeah, Michael Smith on the night was like, oh, just so close, you know, and it was a good run. Yeah,
it can't be discounted.
No way. Ain't So Bad. Number 4, Andrew Clark, trainer and driver. This is another one that I've been told to keep an eye on, or especially moving forward. It wasn't a bad run last week.
No, its Victorian form has been okay as well. It hasn't been getting thrashed over in Victoria. And of course, Clarkie does a lot of travelling. Mount Gambier,
Port Pirie on Tuesday
a lot
night.
of Western Victoria and Port Pirie, Globe Derby. He goes everywhere, Andrew Clark. So good for him. Probably a bit tough for him tonight. Ain't so bad, but younger races, you never know.
For sure. Number 5, Jamaican Rock. This is the horse we've all been watching from its 2-year-old from start to finish. Ryan O'Horick, he's taken the drive himself, obviously trains this and the others in the race. Owned by Frank Borg, bred by the Medhurst family. This horse, it's got high speed, haven't it?
Yes,
it's a beautiful horse. It's a really nice horse to watch, but it can do a bit wrong. It takes a bit of driving, but this is obviously why Ryan's driven it himself. Is it the one to beat?
Yep, I think it is. Good turn of speed. Again, has a nice sprint on him. 6 starts for 5 wins. The record speaks for itself there. He's definitely the one to beat. And I think $2.15, which is what he was at. He's now at $2.15 still. I think, that's probably a good price about a horse with that record. Draw shouldn't concern him too much.
I spoke to Ryan. I said, "Oh, you didn't get looked after too well with the draw." He said, "It won't matter."
Exactly
so
right.
you know what I mean. So at the end of the day, he's confident. That's all that matters. I think he's got a good hand in this race, no matter what. And hopefully for Frankie and Ryan, they can get the cash in this one. Number 6, obviously, as you mentioned, scratched around earlier. And number 7, Wapinga Heritage into the new stable of Paul Cavallaro, driven by Wayne Hill. I thought it was a really honest run last week.
Yeah, it was. Went really well in the trial before that as well. I thought is showing lots of ability. Still green as grass, but is developing. You can see him getting better with each start he has. Another horse, we're going to say it's a lot tonight, but keep an eye on him as a 3-year-old. Draw's a bit tough though. I think he'll probably get a quiet drive tonight and be intriguing to see how he develops going forward.
Yeah, I agree. This one's the one to watch. It's really going to run through
I
the
spoke
grades.
to Brittany Graham, who's a very good judge, and she said on not Cup night, Drivers' Championship night a couple of months ago, and she really likes the look of that Wapinga Heritage out there, because it was up against older horses that night and ran on very well.
Did,
so
definitely one to watch.
Yeah, he's definitely got a few eyes on him, Wapinga Heritage, because he's got the ability.
Rupert Ross is number 8. We've seen this horse's ability in the past. Lance Holborn trains. Josh Holborn and his son takes the drive again. Was back in form from the better draw last week. The draw hasn't helped it tonight. It looks like it's going to be back in the field and going to need a bit of luck.
I spoke to Lance during the week about his horse, and he doesn't like the draw whatsoever. But he's been don't think he's had a lot of luck. He showed a lot of ability in the early stages of the 2-year-old season. Since returning this prep, he's had some of the worst luck possible.
Yeah.
There was a race a couple of weeks ago where they really walked, where he was beaten by Waipinga Heritage, and he was trapped behind the speed. Once you get a 2-year-old horse going that slow, it's very hard to rev him up again for a final spring up the straight.
100%.
So I don't think he's had a lot of luck, and I don't think he's going to get a lot of luck tonight.
Well,
But
probably isn't from the draw.
he's a nice horse.
He
Lance
is.
Hoblan doesn't persist with him unless they've got something special. This horse has something special, and I think he's going to be one for the future. But if he can get some
He
clear
definitely
running
is.
room tonight,
Yeah.
he's going to be a major threat, I reckon.
Don't forget, earlier in the year, this horse was the one to beat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
There
was.
no other horse to watch. It
Yeah.
was Rupert Ross all
Yeah.
over. And
It looked like another dancing thing.
100%, yeah, it was a nice horse. Obviously, we've got to mention it's obviously owned by Carolyn and Laura, her Webster, the late Mark Webster, goes around in Mark's colours. Boof might be with this one tonight, and we wish them all the best.
Yep, we now turn our attention. We've got to get through these last two runners very quickly. He's all talk. One of the main dangers, as we mentioned earlier, Danielle Hill loves this horse. Looks easy to drive and has been heavily supported. 380 into 240. Lethal Louis for the fitness team, being an alarming drifter, 9 out to 21, drawing off the second race. So maybe a bit tough for Lethal Louis tonight, but is a nice horse when he's right
really
as well.
is.
So just quickly going through the market, the main players here. Jamaican Rock has drifted out over the last couple of moments or so, is $2.50. Now equal favourite with the stablemate He's All Talk, who's been 380 into 250, a massive plunge there. Nicely spoken, 6 out to 650. Life is Better Dream, 850 out to 13, back into 750. Yo-yoing around a bit in the market there. Waipinga Heritage number 7, probably not given much hope from the draw at $23. Lethal Louis, the best of the rest, also at $23, number 10 for the Fingers team. And our race caller, Jim Jakes, his tips here, he goes 9, 5, 2 and 3. And my tips here for this race, I've put Jamaican Rock on top here. He's the one to beat. I've gone 5, 9, 2, 8. I think Life is Better Dream is a good each way chance. And if Rupert Ross can get clear running room, he's been incredibly unlucky. He will be storming home late as well. So my numbers 5, 9, 2 and 8 for race number 5 to kick off the quality tonight, and also the third one of our Group 3 finals.
For sure. There's a lot of good stories in this race, Lockie. I don't know who wins it, but either way, it's going to be a great outcome for these guys. Good luck to all the owners and trainers out there, but He's All Talk as well. Danny's on fire. Can she get 3 for the night and her 9th Southern Cross win? We'll see. Or is
Sam Pascoe joined us. Danielle Hill joined us. They both had a lot of success.
Stephen Norman got a drive, or I'll get on that.
But it just shows you, if you're a driver watching this right now,
Yes.
make sure you come up and chat to us, because good luck.
You've got some in the last 2. Come and have a chat. We'll get you on board. Yeah. All the best to all the runners. Some great stories in this race, isn't there? But good luck to the team. Looks like Jim's on board.
Yeah, we're just waiting for that race at Moonee Valley to wrap up. So we're ready now. They're scoring up. Here's Jim Jakes with a call of the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings final.
Got a problem, child. Rupert Ross has galloped. Rupert Ross is galloping and losing all possible chance. So they'll go without Rupert Ross. Curio Crest from the inside. Life is But a Dream should come out quickly. Position 2. Set to go. 2-year-old Colts and Geldings final. Ready. Away and racing. He's coming out with the favourite. Out wide, Jamaican Rock trying to get across. Life is But a Dream. All but gets across. Life is But a Dream on the inside. Galloping nicely. Spoken's made a mistake, but Roy Hurrick got Jamaican Rock to the front. Cleared. Life is But a Dream. Waipinga Heritage is behind those in third placing. Then Curio Crest racing on its outside was Ain't So Bad. A margin then of around 15 metres to He's All Talk. He's giving the stablemate about 25 metres start. Behind those Lethal Louis. And then the Gallopers. A margin then of around about 55 to 60 metres to Nicely Spoken, and another 55 metres away in last placing was Rupert Ross. He's dropped the anchor, Roy Hurrick with the favourite. Lead time 12.4, a lap and a half to go. Jamaican Rock out in front. Here comes a move, Ain't So Bad. Left the 1-1 to try and get outside the leader. Waipinga Heritage, don't know if it'll give it that spot. We're about to find out. Danny was trying to come from the outside with He's All Talk. She's dropped in behind them as he's still out 3 wide. Clark trying to get to the breeze. First quarter covered in 31, but Waipinga Heritage doesn't want to give up the breeze to Ain't So Bad, who's out 3 wide. On the inside, Life is But a Dream follows the leading trio. He's All Talk will appreciate the lift in tempo. Settles down in 5th placing. He's got something to offer. Lethal Louis follows it wherever it goes. Back on the inside, Curio Crest. A margin to Nicely Spoken and a bigger margin to Rupert Ross. 29.6 the second quarter, 60.6 for the half. They hit the 600. In front, it's still the favourite. Jamaican Rock leads away. Now here comes Danny with He's All Talk. She's pulling 3 wide and within 6 metres of the leader and the stablemate. Wiping Heritage in the centre is being worked on. Life is But a Dream on the inside. Lethal Louis continues to try and follow He's All Talk. Back behind those Curio Crest that's on the back of Life is But a Dream. Jamaican Rock, Wiping Heritage. He's All Talk 3 wide, continues to come at them. 28-3 the third quarter. Then behind those, Lethal Louis about 5 metres behind him. Jamaican Rock on the inside. He's All Talk on the outside, trying to level up. He's All Talk and Jamaican Rock. He's All Talk, poked his head in front. He's All Talk. He's All Talk. He's the champ. He's All Talk. Goes on the beat. Jamaican Rock, third Lethal Louis, fourth Wiping Heritage. Ain't So Bad, battled on well. Curio Crest, Life is But a Dream, a margin and nicely spoken. And Rupert Ross comes over at the tail end of the field. He's All Talk, too good, too strong, too powerful. And he's able to run over the top of a very brave Jamaican Rock who gave them something to chase. Copped a bit of a speed burn with a lap to go and going into that third quarter. But it's 9, 5 and 10, the judges' numbers. 9, 5 and 10. And fourth goes to 7. The overall time, 210.3. And the mile rate was 156.5. He's been very good, He's All Talk. Won the Golden Nursery final. He won the heat of the Southern Cross. And now he's won the final of the Southern Cross. And he's been very good for connections and very tough. Never gives in. 1 metre by 2. The last mile covered in 158. They went 60.6. Came home in 57.4. The lead time was 12.4. The quarters 31. 29.6. 28.3 down the back, getting a little tired coming home in 29.1. That last mile in 158. He's All Talk as a Bay Colt 2 years by Pet Rock out of Talk Lively. Raced and bred by IJ Corazol and Danny Hill driving for Ryan Ryhorick. Second goes to 5 Jamaican Rock, Bay Golding 2 years, a rock and roll dance out of Jamaica Run. Ryan Ryhorick, the trainer driver. Third placing number 10, Good Run Lethal Louis, Bay Golding 2 years. Sweet Lou more than all right. Jason Finners for Elise Finners down the southeast of the state at Mount Gambier. Fourth, number 7, Waipinga Heritage, did well after facing the breeze. Wayne Hill for Paul Cavallaro. Fifth goes to 4, Ain't So Bad. Had a tough run, but he battled on well. Andrew Clark, the trainer driver. 1 metre by 2. Here's the tote dividends. He's All Talk, $2.40, $1.30. Jamaican Rock, $1.40. Lethal Louis, $3.90. Fourth, number 7, Waipinga Heritage. The Quinella 9 and 5, $2.90. The Exacta 9 and 5, $3.10. The Duets 9 and 5, $1.80. 9 and 10, $10.30. 5 and 10 also paid $10.30. Standing by for the all clear or otherwise. Trifecta 9, 5, 10, $35.70. The first 4, 9, 5, 10 and 7, $69.30. Still no all clear at this stage. We'll hand it over to you, Lockie, because I've got no all clear.
Of course, He's All Talk, and a race prior with Elegant as well. So we'll try and catch up with a quick interview here with Danielle Hill. Yeah, we're going to have to run because this horse looks like a nut. He's All Talk. Danny, you were speaking about earlier how much you like to drive him. He's got a bit of toe to him, but obviously a great performance tonight.
Yeah, he's super. He's a little bit playful before and afterwards, but as long as he does the right thing out there, that's the main thing.
Great night for you, a treble. You must be pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
There we go, Danielle Hill there on He's All Talk, who has got a bit of a kick to him, and try and stand clear of this guy here because he's quite got a lot going on in his head there, but he's got pace, he's got speed, and like most of these Ryhorick horses, it looks very promising. He's All Talk takes out the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings Southern Cross Series final.
Back to the Harness Racing SA Southern Cross live stream. We've seen 3 out of 4 of our Group 3 finals, 1 Group 3 final to come, and we are beyond the halfway point of the program now with 3 more races to come here tonight at Globe Derby. And that previous race taken out by Hazel Talk, Danielle Hill and the sulky for Ryan Rahoric, and tough horse to interview, that's for sure. When I was trying to catch up with Danielle after the race, found myself jogging alongside of her. But
I know what you mean. We had the job at Golden Nursery night, and she said, "Don't even try. Put the rug on it. Don't even try for presentation. We'll get a photo down the stalls." She said to us before, didn't she? It's a horse that obviously has a few quirks about it, but she gets along really well with this horse. It was a good effort. It had, you know, to do a lot of work to come from where it did. It caught him and it toughed it out in the straight, and it put its nose in front of the line.
Gets along well with the horse while it's racing, but before and after a bit of a challenge. But no, well done to Danny, obviously our top ratings person here in South Australia.
And win number 9 for a Southern Cross final. I don't know what Mark Billinger's record is. I know he had a massive record in these series as well, but that's amazing for a SA.
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I know. I remember last year I spoke to him about it as well. He has an impeccable record as well, but 9 wins, and she's still got another one to come. It's got a good hope, Cobbler, so can she make it 10 on Southern Cross final night? We'll see. But the race that we just saw, race 5, obviously Hazel Talk was the winner. Second, Brave in defeat, number 5, Jamaican Rock, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Intriguing race it was with what was going on during it. Of course, nicely spoken, galloping early, changed complexion a little bit, but Jamaican Rock, a nice good run in second for Ryan Rahoric. Keeps his good record and his win percentage and his place percentage. He hasn't been out of the placings once during his career, so that's an amazing effort. Third pick for 10, Lethal Louis.
You mentioned this, didn't you? You said it was going to be one to watch. It did. It put in a good run.
We have to remember early on in the season, it was one of the top ones going head-to-head with Rupert Ross.
100%,
so I think he'll have a better season as a 3-year-old. Finishes are very good with younger horses. And Wade Pinger Heritage running fourth for the Cavallaro team.
That was a very tough effort too, wasn't it?
Yeah, from that draw, number 7.
From the draw, seeing the breeze, got the pressure from the horse coming 3 wide, still battled on to run 4th. It wasn't that far away in the end. I think it's really one to watch. It's a nice horse for Pinger Heritage. Unlucky there, obviously, Rupert Ross breaking in the score up. Sad to see on a race like this, isn't it? On a team like this, condolences to Connections. It happens in these races. We know they're babies, but Lance will sort this horse out. And
exactly. Yeah, Lance, a very good trainer, and he doesn't have a bad horse in his stable a lot of the time, so I'm sure that horse will be bouncing back on the scene as quick as possible. But we spoke.
It was a pretty swift time there as well again.
Yes.
For these guys.
Very
156. Something, 156 I wrote it down, but it for 2-year-old, is this just, they're setting the record, the track's on fire, aren't they? For babies, it's amazing.
Well, when you think about it, our track record is held at over the 1800 metres, which is where we run a lot of our races, 1800 metre mobile starts, of course held by Encipher, who was a 3-year-old when taking it out and finished very close to breaking the track record as a 2-year-old here this time last year. So the younger horses are really showing what sort of times they're running. Like that's fast class time right there.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. A lot of those races previously, when we were watching the fast class on the night, these guys were running quicker times than the fast class. It's amazing to
exactly
see
right.
These horses going around and running faster times than the free-for-all. What sort of future do they have? We've got some nice horses here, haven't we? And first and second are no exception. They've got some really high speed. Both tough horses, and Jamaican Rock, obviously high speed pacer. Hazel Talk, he really is just tough, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. The track's playing really well tonight as well. We're seeing some quick times. Obviously, with the warmer weather during the week, the track hasn't been rain affected. We've had a really weird league up to summer here in Adelaide at the moment with some wet weather and some storm conditions. We lost a meeting a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately, due to storm activity. So
in November,
it's just unheard of. So the track is playing a lot better. We're going to see quicker times heading into the summer months, and that was evident tonight so far with the times we've seen. But we spoke to Dean earlier about a change of conditions to the Southern Cross Series. We also had the change of conditions to the SA Cup last year with the League Up, the Country Cup heats with cups at Port Pirie and so forth, and you had to be racing in those cups to be eligible for the final, which really...
domicile in SA, which was just an SA-based series, wasn't it? Yeah, for sure.
Which is great to see, and I think it's something that South Australia needed to do for quite a long time, because 10 years ago when I was getting into harness racing, you had the big names in the sport coming here, horses like Smoking Up, who were drawing the crowd to Globe Derby. Harness racing around the country has probably lost its big names over the last decade or so, because back about 10 years ago you had Smoking Up, Laxafake, Mr. Feelgood, I'm a My Quinn, all contesting for that top spot. You had they were household names almost when it came to people knowing about harness racing. It's sort of lost that now.
We really haven't. We had to try something for SA, didn't we? We really had to. And, you know, we're this little state here, we're unknown, we're not unknown, but, you know, we do have horses here and we've got good trainers, we've got good drivers. We had to try something different. It wasn't working. And yeah, all credit to Harness Racing SA for trying something different. I think it was a great incentive. Next year, though, looks like we get it both ways. We get a Country Cup series, which is obviously going to be a great initiative. We support the locals and we support the country clubs. We all do a great job. And then later in the year in October, we're also going to get SA Cup. I think this is great that we've moved into this position that we've had to do last year and have an SA Cup.
Probably a better time of year as well.
100%. Yeah, it's exactly right. And leading into bigger races, perfect timing.
April probably wasn't the best time of year for your major cup race here in South Australia because it was in the late stages of April and you're getting into that colder weather. So October should be a much more welcoming time to get a crowd on course. And in saying that, tonight, the crowd here has been quite steady.
Really
The restaurant has been booming. You go downstairs, there's a nice, healthy crowd on the lawn, which is something we don't usually see on a Friday night here at Globe Derby.
No, we don't. I've noticed a lot of the participants in the botcher room too. Thanks again, Harness Racing SA. So they've all been up there watching the horses and having a good chat to the locals. So that was good.
We've got the best of both worlds tonight. 100%. We have the turnover, we have the primetime time slot on Sky Channel, but we also have the crowd here at Globe Derby, which is good to see.
Amazing.
So,
Race 6, as you mentioned, is the last of our Group 3s. So the 3-year-old pacing colts and geldings. This is Cobbity Equine Farm sponsored. This race again is going to be an absolute cracker.
Yes, this is my favourite one.
Oh, for sure. It's a really great race. Let's go from the top first, and then you can talk about give us a market update. But number 1, obviously scratched, raced earlier in the night. Deadline. Number 2, We Said So, is Dale Afford trainer driver.
Gate 1, $151 about We Said So, which is probably a little bit overs from gate number 1, but he will struggle against this field. Probably hasn't been hitting his best form as of late, but only recently returned from a spell in the springtime. So he'll be around the mark from that inside drawing. There's a rough place chance, but $151 probably says it all about his winning chances. For sure. Arch Jester number 3 is Elise and Jason Fitness. This horse has got ability for sure. Galloped in the heat and still ran third. It was an honest run. It was actually quite an eye-catching run to still run the third. It's not a horse that lacks ability. It just doesn't have a lot of luck, really, and it really never has a great draw either. This is probably the best draw it's had for a while. Yeah, 14 out to $23, Art Jester. When he's at his best, he's a super horse. Exactly. 22 starts for 9 wins and 9 placings. That record speaks for itself. So his win percentage is around 41%. Hasn't won a race over his last few starts. Probably has flatlined a little bit since he went on a break in the late stages of September. But if he can bring his top run tonight, he's going to be a threat. But the two main players obviously being Cobber and Jaws of Lincoln. It's going to be very hard to get past those two. But at the same time, you look outside of those two, and Art Jester for the fitness team and also Ever Hoping look like the two main hopes outside of that. Heston Blue Streak, as we've spoken about them before, is a roughie for Jill Nielsen, Sam Pascoe, all already with a winner tonight on the Southern Cross final. This one looks like it might be a little bit out of depth, but it's a consistent horse. Yeah, it is, $151, but it's always around the mark in Monday grade races. So I think, again, if you see him popping up in the fields over the next couple of weeks or next prep, he's always a horse to keep an eye on because he's usually around the mark. Number 5, Cobber. This is the one that we've been talking about. Jeff Webster's brought this horse over for Danielle Hill. Very impressive heat winner. Did it quite easily in the end. Cobber, obviously, one of the better hopes in the field. His Globe Derby record is very good as well. 3 starts for 2 wins here at Globe Derby Park. 36 starts for 10 wins. Victorian form, he's been racing up against some really tough competition at Melton. And he obviously found last week a lot easier, winning by 18.9 metres. But there was no Jaws of Lincoln in that race, and that is the difference tonight. So Cobber, definitely one of the main chances, and the advantage he has is he's drawn closer to the peg line than Jaws of Lincoln. Number 6, Jaws of Lincoln, is the one we've spoken about. It's looking for go for 3 in a row, which it has done before. Greg Schofield, brilliant trainer, we don't have to say anymore. Gator Policino has a brilliant record with this horse, and this horse just grows a leg for Gator. She knows this horse inside and out. As you said, it's drawn outside Cobber, so how's this going to play out? Who's going to be the better horse? That run 2 starts ago on a Monday was one of the best runs I've ever seen here at Globe Derby, because you have to keep in mind that Monday was after the storms.
100%.
And he ran 155.5 and won by 47.9 metres. If he does that again tonight,
amazing.
he wins.
It was a heavy track. Obviously, they had the pressure, didn't it, mid-race by Carlisle Cruiser when it took off.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunate, but then just still did it quite easily.
He just kept going. He's $2.30 on the tab fixed.
Yeah.
And I put him on top because I think he has a better record here at Globe Derby.
Yep.
Doesn't do a lot outside of Globe Derby, surprisingly enough.
No.
But he's had the 27 starts for 12 wins, and 9 of those are being here at Globe Derby from 12 starts. So Gail Polachenko, he flies for him, for her, I should say. And Greg Schofield, he's a terrific trainer. So,
brilliant record for Gator, as you said. So good luck to the team. Number 7, I'm Reggie. Ryan Hihoric is a consistent horse, has a lot of bridesmaids here, but probably needs a bit more luck tonight.
$151, gate 7. Yeah, probably not his night tonight. But another horse drops down in Monday class. He's going to be winning a race again soon.
And number 8, Major Jolt, similar as, again, Michael Harding. Bailey McDonough takes the drive. Similar story with this one, I'd say.
End up 3 back. We'll find it hard to work into a race in that position. But again, all these horses run well outside of the Southern Cross Series, so they can't be discounted.
For sure. Number 9, Ever Hoping. Last year's winner, obviously. We didn't discount it last year. I actually had it as an outsider last year. Alice Finesse, Wayne Hill takes the drive. He usually drives his horse for the team.
Yep.
It can put in a good race. Obviously, last week found it hard, but we didn't really. It galloped under pressure a little bit, but still put in a good run.
Yeah, he did. And I think if these two burn early, Cobber and Jaws of Lincoln, he's going to be camped right behind that, because he's a finish-on horse. And if there's a battle between Cobber and Jaws of Lincoln, which I think it might be, then you got to look at it.
Last year, and he
you got to see where he is.
Yep. So, number 10, Monsieur Steele, Greg Rogers, trainer driver.
Yeah, tough assignment for him tonight, $151. And then we go to Bottom One Party at the Beach as well. Number 11. It's been struggling to win this preparation. We'll find it hard at $151.
All right,
so,
wrap it up, Rocky.
Yeah, before we go, Jim, $1.55 here. Cobber, number 5, opened up at $1.60, is maintaining favouritism. And Jaws of Lincoln, number 6, is $2.50 into $2.25, back out to $2.40 at the moment. He's one on top of Jaws of Lincoln. I think he has a better record here at Globe Derby, and I was really impressed with his last 2 runs, especially that run 2 starts back. 6, 5, 9 and 3 are my numbers. Ever Hoping and Arjester for 3rd and 4th, Cobber for 2nd. We're just waiting on that race at Moonee Valley to wrap up before we hand to Jim. Jim Jakes will be catching up with him after the next race as well.
Great news.
And talking to him about some of his career highlights. And of course, he finishes next week, so we'll talk to him about that decision as well. 5, 6, 9 and 3 are his numbers. So
you switched them around, you and Jim. We're going to see who's going to get the cash.
Almost identical, but
it's very hard to pick these two, isn't it?
It's a match race.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But again, good luck to all the connections.
Cobber $1.40, Jaws of Lincoln out to $2.60 late.
Wow.
So
Ever Hoping $11. If you think he's going to come from behind and knock him off like last year, maybe have a couple of dollars on Ever Hoping.
Late money here for Cobber. We're on start time. Let's head over to Jim Jakes for the call of our final Group 3 race of the night. This is the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings Southern Cross Series final here at Globe Derby.
151 Arjester, 26 Heston Blue Streak, 151 Cobber, $1.60 into $1.40. Jaws of Lincoln, $2.50. Got into $2.25. He's $2.60. They're starting to move up now. I'm Reggie, $1.51. Major Jolt, $1.51. Ever Hoping, Place Chance, $6.50 out to 13. Monsieur Steele, $1.51. And Party at the Beach, $1.51. Look, I've gone 5, 6, 9 and 3. You got around 15 or 20 seconds to place your bets for this one. Cobbity 3-year-old Colton Gelding Southern Cross final. The Cobbity Equine Farm 3-year-old Pacing Colton Gelding Southern Cross Series final. Group 3 is what we're looking at. Cobber and Jaws of Lincoln, both very impressive last week in their respective heats. Set to go. Gate will come out guns a-blazing with Jaws of Lincoln. What gate speed will Cobber show? Away, Jaws of Lincoln begins fast, comes out quickly. Cobber not so fast away. He's going back to worst at midfield. Gator found the lead easy. And Arjester got across, we said so. So he's going to be sitting behind the leader. That gives him a good place chance. Outside the leader is I'm Reggie. Looking to wait for Cobber to come around the outside and grab the 1-1. But Gator goes strong. Danny's still 3 wide and at the tail end of the field. Looking to go back. Now decides to go forward 4 wide for a stride or 2 there with Cobber. And in the meantime, time, her main danger's out in front, Jaws of Lincoln. Danny's going to try and press forward. Wayne's got to leave his position. Going forward, is it? Yeah, looks to be going forward now, Ever Hoping. So he leaves the 1-1. He's going to go and get outside the leader and then take the sit behind Cobber. Therefore, on Reggie will end up following the 1-1. We said so, 3 back the inside. Major Joel 4 back the inside. Following those 3 was Party at the Beach. On its outside was Monsieur Still. And at the tail end of the field, racing one off as they go down the back was Heston Blue Street. Cobber's taking a long time to get to the breeze. Lead time 44.6. Jaws of Lincoln's had a pretty cushy run out in front. He leads by 5 metres. Art Jester in second placing. He's had a nice run. He'll be there at the finish. Copper on the outside is facing the breeze. 1 out, 1 back, Ever Hoping. They're probably the first 4 runners that'll probably run 1, 2, 3, 4 here, I'd say. Back on the inside, 3 back, just struggling to keep up slightly as We Said So. 30.4 for that first quarter as they come into the front straight. Now, Reggie's dropped off. He's about 5 or 6 metres away. So we've got these 4 up front. All the others are under a little bit of pressure. Major Joel's held up on the inside. No clear run. Monsieur Still's on a loose rein. So is Party at the Beach. And at the tail end of the field, Heston Blue Street. They've got around 700 metres to travel. That's why they picked it up to 28.6. 59 for the half. And with that bend, Ever Hoping dropped off slightly there. Lost a bit of ground. Jaws of Lincoln and Cobber. Art Jester goes to a clear third. He's holding on to their coattails, but he's being tickled up, but he's not far behind the back there of Jaws of Lincoln. And then a margin to Ever Hoping's about 15 metres away, 20 metres to the other. Here we go. It was a promising match race on paper, and that's what we're seeing live. 27 for the third quarter. Jaws of Lincoln on the inside, Cobber on the outside. Art Jester's only 7 metres away in third placing. Jaws of Lincoln got a long neck to a metre in front of Cobber. Danny's getting serious. Jaws of Lincoln lifts. Cobber's lifting as well. He's coming at Jaws of Lincoln. Cobber on the outside. Jaws of Lincoln. Cobber! Cobber got there by a nose in front of Jaws of Lincoln. Third was Art Jester. Fourth placing behind those was Ever Hoping. A long margin to Party at the Beach. Major Jolt. Then Heston Blue Streak. Underneath it was I'm Reggie. Out by Monsieur Still. The last one was We Said So. Great battle between 2 very good 3-year-olds, but Cobber has got his nose in front where it counts, and he's grabbed Jaws of Lincoln, who pitched a break top of the front straight. Nearly looked the winning break, but Cobber's tough. He never gave in, and he's grabbed first prize in a classic clash of 3-year-old pacing colts and geldings. Cobber beats Jaws of Lincoln. Art Jester will be third. Overall time, 239.8, 239.8, a mile rate of 155.3. It's a very good mile rate, 155.3. And years ago, that would have been a track record. The track record is held by Guarantee at 154.4, so they're only 0.9 outside of the track record. And he's won by a bit more than the nose. He's won by a half head by 5.5 metres, 5, 6, 3 and 9 after the 3-year-old final. 239.8, mile rate 155.3. The lead time was 44.6. The quarters 30.4, 28.6, 27.4 and 28.8. Last mile covered in 155.2. They went 59 for the first half and 56.2 the last half. Cobber taking first prize, a bay gelding 3 years by a rock and roll dance out of Star-Crossed, raced and bred by Buckland Park Homestead, managed by DJ Batty, Danny Hill driving for Jeff Webster. Second, 6 Jaws of Lincoln, a bay colt 3 years, Art Major Lincoln Room, Gator Policino for Greg Schofield. Third goes to 3, Art Jester, bay gelding 3 years, Art Major Charlotte Grace, Jason Finnis for Elise Finnis. There's the all clear is there. Fourth goes to 9. Ever Hoping, Wayne Hill for Elise Finnis. Fifth goes to 11, Party at the Beach, Michael Smith for Rob Caruso. $1.50 and $1 for Cobber. Let's go to Lachlan Stace trackside for the presentation.
There by you, and a fantastic finish. It looked like the most exciting feature final on paper tonight, and it was. Cobber and Jaws of Lincoln going down to the wire, nothing between them, and Cobber has done enough after being back in the field early to come from behind and get the job done. Amazing. It was a fantastic finish. And that's what Globe Derby harness racing, that's what South Australian harness racing is all about. When we see finishes like that on this track, you're not going to get exciting finishes like that at many other tracks around the country, and we got to see that here tonight with Cobber really showing how tough he is. And Danielle Hill, what a night she has had, and we're going to catch up with her now. Danny, congratulations, another Southern Cross final for you here tonight and overall in your career. Cobber, what a performance.
Yeah, what a super run. It probably didn't work out quite as what I was thinking early, but he was so tough, and to give him credit, he really fought on up the straight.
Just on that earlier on, what were you thinking at that point? Were you thinking you could get the job done?
Look, I thought the race was going to be a very, very interesting race, and it was, clearly. I didn't think that necessarily I had to lead to win, but then, you know, if George Lincoln got it too easy, that he would be hard to run down. As it turned out, you know, there was good tempo, and he did put some tempo into it too, but he was just too strong tonight.
What's the adrenaline like as a driver when you're going head-to-head with a horse like Jaws of Lincoln up the straight in a race like that?
You don't think about anything other than trying to get him over the line.
Well done, Danny. Congratulations. Danielle Hill, the winning driver for Jeff Webster. And she's dominated tonight, Danny. And she gets up here with Cobber, who takes out the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings Southern Cross Series final.
we're on.
We're back here on Southern Cross Stream Night, thanks to Harness Racing SA and John Rothe Video. And Mel, that was probably the most exciting race of the night right there. Jaws of Lincoln and Cobra fighting it out to the line.
Jimmy, you must have got excited in the straight there. That was very exciting, wasn't it? Leading into that straight, it could have been anyone's race. What a finish.
I did. I mean, I thought Jaws of Lincoln got a good soft lead.
Yep.
And Cobber was off the track 3 and 4 wide early, and then Danny went back and then decided to go forward. So he took a while to get outside the lead. And I thought, because I thought Cobber would beat him.
Yep.
But I wasn't 100% certain in the run. And I wasn't even 100% certain top of the front straight, because Jaws of Lincoln got away a little bit in front of Cobber, but then Cobber's pretty tough. I mean, I remember Jeffrey Webster telling me a while back that he's strong. His asset is his strength, you know, and I think that showed that he was good enough. And I thought he only just got there by this much, but he won by a half head.
He won. He did. The number come up really quick, didn't it? But 155.3. Wow.
Yeah.
Like it was absolutely sitting outside the lead like that, doing a bit of work. It's a really nice horse. Jaws of Lincoln, brave in defeat, obviously, on those times. For the Schofield team, and they were really happy with the horse. Greg said he was wrapped, but yeah, what a race.
They both went fantastic,
amazing.
and only 0.9 outside of Guaranteed's track record, which is 154.4. So it's a pretty good effort for 3-year-olds. I know they're late 3-year-olds, obviously, but yeah, still a very good effort.
Yeah, for sure. Jimmy, welcome. We've got you on because we want to see your face firstly.
Okay.
But yeah, so everyone hears Jimmy's voice. Obviously, weekly we hear you all the time. Around here, but we don't see your face we do, but people at home probably don't.
I've got a good face for radio.
You have a good face for radio. Too, but they let us on board, so it's okay. We're all in that boat. Jimmy, what a career you've had. How long have you been calling for, and why has it come to an end?
Okay, I think I started calling for the radio station in 1997.
Wow.
I reckon.
Yeah.
And my first ever SA Cup was here in the year 2000, so I became primary harness commentator, because originally when I started, Terry McAuliffe was primary harness commentator, and then when Ron Papps left, Terry went to the thoroughbreds, and then they shifted me up to primary harness. And I think that was late 1999, because my first SA Cup, I'm pretty sure, was the year 2000. I think I'm right in saying that. Safe and Sound and Sorrento Star. I look... I had this mentality that I've always been a punter, and I've always had this mentality that the commentator should have a crack at a photo finish, and if you get it wrong, you get egg on your face. If you get it right, you're a superstar. Well, anyway, I had a crack at the photo finich, and I got it right. It was Safe and Sound. But I went to the judge and just checked it, and I think he said there was either 3 or 6 pixels between them, which is like... It was about 6 millimetres, and that was probably stupid in an SA Cup, my first ever SA Cup, to say Safe and Sound's got there.
The adrenaline will bang up.
I got it right, but I've got so many wrong since.
I think you've got, I have this thing that everyone says Jimmy's really good in a photo. If Jimmy goes for that, you stick with Jimmy. You do have a pretty good record in a photo.
I used to, no, my eyes are stuffed now. I mean, all up my throat, my voice is stuffed, my eyes are stuffed. And I've got a lot wrong this year. And so much so I thought I might be a coward and just say I'll leave it to the judge, you know. So I got sick of being wrong, you know, because it hurts when you're wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're a punter sitting at home, JT said this is right. there's no correct.
Jimmy, what's happened here? So you've lost your voice is struggling, as you've said. So this is the time to retire. Obviously, it hasn't helped you. So that's really sad news for all of us, because you have a really good way of telling a story during the race, whether we're listening to it or watching it. I can listen at home on the radio and I can tell where every horse is in the run. You give them a good overview of a race, like you said, without having to watch it on Sky Channel, which I think is a real amazing effort.
And how they're travelling as well.
And how they're travelling.
You can bring in the backstory, because you know the horses and you know if last lap of a race and how they're travelling, whether or not they're going to win or not. And that is a very unique quality to have, to be able to tell that story and bring that sort of atmosphere to a race call is quite phenomenal. And it comes with a lot of experience as well, but also comes with hard work and knowing what the horses are capable of.
Yeah, look, I've always, to answer all of those questions, I've always had the mentality that I work for a radio audience because I'm employed by a radio station, Radio Tab in Queensland, in Brisbane, even though we're now merged with Tab and it's Sky Channel and there's Vision and all that, but I've always had the mentality that I'm talking to a radio audience, and I've tried to paint the picture of what I think is happening and going to happen. and I do a lot of research. Got a couple of my friends over there. Brett Davis is here just to check that I'm saying things right. How am I going so far, Brett? All right.
You're our next Brett.
But nevertheless, I've always done a lot of form because I've always been a punter.
Yeah.
And I
a driver.
And a driver,
It helps to know how things are travelling if you've been in this situation yourself, for sure.
Yeah, driving has helped a lot. And especially, I think I've had the advantage over most commentators without bragging too much in trotters races because I'm one of the rare ones that can pick when a horse is pacing and not trotting.
For sure,
and that's one thing that I probably can hang my hat on, but other things others do much better than me. But nevertheless, I do a lot of research, or I used to do a lot of research on the form, which helps me with my betting, but more importantly helps me with the commentary. So I know the idiosyncrasies of that horse or greyhound, what we do greyhounds now as well. You know whether if they're back there that they can catch them or they can't, you know what I mean? Sure. And I think that helps with my call. Look, Mel, 80% of the reason why I'm retiring is because my voice is stuffed. It's bad. And the other 20% is
your job, isn't it? Yeah. It's your work.
Well, you know, they need a better quality call, and plus, you know, my mental attitude is not as strong as it was towards the position. Not the people I work for, but what I'm doing. So that's part of my fault, I suppose, being weak in the head and letting that affect me. But the end result is that it's time for me to move on. And there's things that I want to do. Part of it's even financial, because things that I want to do, I don't want to go to what I've got saved up and to what we want to do. I'm about 250k short, you know what I mean? So I don't want to go to the bank and take a loan for 250. So I've got to retire to tap into my super. So that's what it boils down to. And if I run out of money in 3 years, you'll be good for it, Lane.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll help you out. We'll do a payment plan. Jim, one thing that stands out to me, when we grew up as kids, and even like you started calling the big races like the SA Cup, when those horses would leave the gate, you'd get the crowd to roar as they left the gate. I'll never forget being here watching those races and you calling Smoking Up, you know, these sort of horses, the champions we had here, and hearing the crowd, back when we had a good crowd, roar when they left the gate. This is something that you brought in. You started this. You said, when we leave, we all roar, and the crowd got into it. You can still hear it on the replays. It's amazing. These are the days that we miss, and obviously we're not going to get them back. They're gone, but this is an icon that you've brought into our sport. Days like that. That call that night with Smoking Up and Caribbean Blaster, amazing, and it was a good win. But those sort of things are just iconic, aren't they? And is there one that sticks in your mind that you can...
I think that's the one, Mel. Look, I'm glad you said that, because that's something I did introduce.
You did, yeah.
And part of that was through cycling. And Mike Turner, who was the race director of the Tour Down Under, and I called the first 17 editions of the Tour Down Under for the people that went there live. Obviously, Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwin did it for television. And Mike said, Jakesy, we've got to make the people get involved with the sport. We've got to make them feel like they're on team with the cyclists. So I tried to introduce that here by getting the crowd involved and cheering the horses, like as a congratulation to owners, trainers, drivers 100%. That have got a horse into our major race, which is the SA Cup. And I thought it was a great thing.
It was amazing.
And it was. And we had the best ever race, the South Australia Cup. That race you mentioned,
100%.
Caribbean Blaster and Smoking Up. and look, the late John Bandick, he come up to me that night. He said, Jimmy, he said, I've been coming to the trots for 60 years. I've never heard a crowd roar as loud as that in the 60 years.
You Google that replay, you can hear
you
that
can hear
in the
it in
replay.
the
It's amazing. Like, I watched a couple of weeks ago. I sent it to Mark Aston for your interview on the radio, but I watched it that day and I was like, wow, I've forgotten how good it was. It was iconic.
And you know what happened? The next year, Harness Racing SA changed it to 22:30, back straight start. So I got my nose out the joint. I said, stuff you, I'm not going to do this again.
So good. Jimmy, last week is your last week, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you know who's replacing you as far as...
I do, but I can't tell you.
Right, okay. We'll wait for that announcement. That's fine. But you're going to show up next week? You're not having a sickie?
Yeah, no. Oh, well, unless my voice goes. Look, I've accumulated... I had a target
of reaching 1,500 hours of sick leave accumulated because I rarely have a sickie, right?
Very true, yeah.
And the last 6 months, because of my voice, and it's going now while I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I've had more sick days in the last 6 months than the previous 20 years. So I don't know, Mel. If I can talk, I'll be at work. So I've got Monday at Globe Derby, Tuesday Port Pirie, and then my final call will be Saturday, the 10th of December here at Globe
We'll
Derby.
look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that night, and hopefully we can get a few people here on course as well, and HRSA and the club.
HRSA, I believe, have presented you with a, did they tonight in the
Yes, they
room?
did.
With a gift.
I haven't
I'm
opened
really
it
excited
yet.
about that. I think it's
There's
quite
a
nice.
bottle of stuff in there, which is
I
good.
think you'll be really happy with it. But yeah, well done. Well deserved. You've been an iconic addition to Harness Racing SA.
Will we see you around the track afterwards? Do you plan on coming back and doing the occasional visit?
Probably not.
No.
Every now and then, I think, Lachlan.
Yeah.
I've got a few.
Yeah.
I've got a few strategies.
I know coming back means you'll probably have to see me, and that's probably going to be a bit of a
Don't put up with you. I'll put up with you.
But,
that bloke alongside Brett Davis, I can't put up with. I can put up with you.
You've done a few winners tonight. Obviously, you've done some.
Have I?
Yeah,
I did a bit of research.
He's done a lot. You've done some really good.
Done better than me.
Yeah, really well.
As usual.
What was your standout for the night? Some of the trials.
Yeah,
the last race?
No.
You
It's
like
already been and done, really. Yeah, I thought Cobber would beat Jaws of Lincoln, but he was short.
Yep.
I thought the best bet that they put up last night was, and she happened to win, was Layla's Princess. $1.75 for a place I thought was really good odds with a chance of winning if the favourite got into trouble, and she did.
In as well.
Well, the $10 was too big.
Yeah.
It was wrong. But anyway.
Two interviews we did, Jimmy, tonight was Danielle Hill and Sam Pascoe before the feature races, and on fire the girls. So you know there was no. Don't interview with me, you'll put the mockers on me tonight, and it works in their favour. So,
well, if you were still driving,
anyone in
Jim,
the last that wants an interview, you've still got a half hour to get up here.
If you were still driving, you could probably go out there and drive a winner now, because that's how much of a good luck charm we've been tonight.
Yeah, driving the trot.
So the next photo finish I might get right.
You like trotters, Jimmy. If you're on trot in the race 8, Lockie can call it for you, and we'll get you on a runner, surely. Make a comeback.
Yeah.
You still got a claim if you make a comeback into the driving ranks. How long did you drive for?
I can't remember the year that I stopped, but my first winner was in 1985.
Wow.
I only drove 5 winners, but I did get a double at Victor Harbour. I keep telling people that, the old Victor Harbour track.
Oh, well, Victor
But
Harbour,
I can't remember what year was my last drive. Probably close to about 15, 20 years ago. No, it would have been more than that because I haven't driven since I started commentating. Wow. So it'd be 25 years ago.
And that small stint as a driver has helped you as a commentator overall, hasn't it?
Oh yeah. Because you get to learn about the equipment when something breaks. You know what it's called. You can tell people.
Like you said, pacing, trotting, how they're travelling a lap out, the tactics mainly as well. Like, even you said you saw the tactics with Ryan Horick in that race to go forward and take the lead and then hand up to the favourite. These sort of things are just iconic to you. They're just nature, and it makes a big difference if you're listening at home.
I used to work for Torrens Island Power Station. You can see it when you walk up on top there, the 2 stacks. And I used to be in the safety department there. And I went to a training program, and there was a young lady that was out the front, and she was a bit of a. Anyway, she presented, and one thing she said to me, which stuck in my mind, and this is a trade union training authority seminar. She said information was power, and it didn't really mean much at the time, but it's spot on, because if you've got that information, if you've got that built up in there, you've got the power to let people know about it. Whereas if you don't know something about something, you can't say anything about it.
That's one lesson I've learned as a race caller as well. It's so important to do the work and have that research on your side.
Jimmy, we have to let you run because the runners are on the track for race 7, so we'll let you get back to your normal job, but thanks for joining us. All the best for the future. We hope you see you around, and we really look forward to next week.
Okay, Mel.
We'll take a very quick break and be back with a preview for the 3-year-old Trotters Southern Cross Final. Welcome back. That was a great chat, wasn't it, Mel?
Oh,
Jim
Jimmy,
Jakes.
He's amazing, isn't he? He knows his stuff.
He's going to be
and
missed. He's going to be...
Well missed. And interesting to see. We'll be excited to hear who his replacement's going to be in the coming weeks. Very quickly, race 7. Obviously, we've got the 3-year-old Trotter Southern Cross final. They had a race last week, but not necessarily a heat, so we do have additions into this race that didn't go around last week. And, yeah, really good race. Number 1, Wishing Zone. Claire Goebel, Corey Johnson. Off the mobile start from the pole. It was probably a good first up effort for its first ever race start.
Yeah, I thought it was too short though, Mel. It opened up at 6.50, now out to 13, back into 9.50. So I've chopped it back in, but I had it $34 in my market because Gate 1, yes, I know it has Gate 1, and Claire Goebel, she's a great trainer, Corey Johnson, a great driver, but this horse, I think I've seen it trotting its life. Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit under the price for Wishing Zone number 1, but you must respect the stable with trotters.
Yep, sure. Number 2, Saint Sebastian. Form speaks for itself. Michael Norman, trainer, driver. Obviously, Mark Carey, his ownership in this horse as well. Yeah, it's really going great guns.
Yeah, $1.85 into $1.75, back out to $1.85. Has remained quite steady in the market, considering there's been a massive amount of money for Mercenary. Number 4, who's come 13 into $2.80, and rightfully so. That price was silly. But Saint Sebastian, $1.85, he's a bulletproof trotter, and I'm not going to put the mockers on him, but he just trots smoothly.
He's going great guns. Number 3, Greywood's Diamond, a very consistent horse. Obviously, David Smith in the sulky. Jamie Braidwood in ownership of this horse too. Another, speaking of race caller. Speaking of, it's fitting that he probably gets the cash in this race. Greywood's Diamond, consistent, but not really luck on its side lately.
Top class Blake Jamie as well. There's not a lot of people I have a massive amount of respect for in harness racing, but he's one of them. Greywood's Diamond, $61, big drifter. Place chance though, definite place chance, and I know we only have two dividends here, but $17, $15 for a place for a trotter who always seems to trot smoothly is probably a bit of a silly price.
For sure.
Mercenary number 4, this is the interesting one because if he trots, he's going to be a major threat. He's won here at Globe Derby in the past.
He's won here before, but Mark Billinger really nursed him around that side, and he won by the barest of margins. Albeit he did it quite easily.
Yes.
But Mark knew he had to nurse the horse around the corners, and still was just too good for him. But yeah, like you said, won here before, has a lot of ability.
If he trots, he either wins or runs second. For sure. $13. I could not believe that price during the week.
Agreed. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Into $2.70 now, which is what I have in my markets. But has to be very short. It must be kept safe here. Definite chance in this, but he can do things wrong.
For sure. My Bad Habits, Matt Magoo, Maguire, Danielle Hill's on fire at the moment, isn't she? How do you know? That's another one. If it does everything right, it's really got a lot of ability.
Yeah, well, if this horse trots, look out, because every time it trots, it's dangerous.
Yeah, 100%. Danielle Hill's got a really good record with this horse too.
Yeah, Danielle Hill does have a good record. I think the best win I saw it have was a couple months back here at Globe Derby. I called it. Ryan Roharic drove it a treat that night.
I agree. I saw that race. I know exactly the one you're talking about. I think I interviewed him after the win. It was a really nice win.
He just drove it a treat. I even said during the call, I don't usually give out compliments during my race call, but I was like, great drive by Roharic because it was spot on. He's nice horse, My Bad Habits when it trots, but is a massive risk here because it can do things wrong. And the same can be said about Alabama and Dexter.
Speaking of Roharic, he's taken the drive on his own horse. But it's the same. It's got ability, but
it copped a nasty check in a trial a couple of weeks back here at Globe Derby. Wishing Zone actually checked it. And I think he's been a little bit off since that. Once a younger horse cops a little bit of a bump during a race or a trial, the confidence setback is a big thing. But when this horse first started racing as a 2-year-old, it was amazing because it was running time so early in the season that you don't usually see from a 2-year-old trotter. Like, for instance, when you see those early 2-year-old trotter races, they're struggling to break 17 seconds of the lead time. This horse is running normal average lead times into the first turn. So when he's right, he's an excellent horse, but it all comes down to...
It's funny you say that. Someone during the week said the same thing to me. This horse at his best would be right in this race, and I agree. It's really a nice horse, as they all are. This is really that race, isn't it? There's a lot of ability in this race. So it's just going to come down to who's going to do the right thing at the mobile start, and who's going to be the first past the post, we don't know. This is a really, really nice race.
I think if Saint Sebastian does what he does, usually he wins. So I'll put number 2, Saint Sebastian, on top. To beat the 4 Mercenary, it all comes down to whether he trots. If he trots, he's either winning or he's running second. My third pick, the 5 My Bad Habits. The fourth pick, the 3 Greywood's Diamond.
For sure.
Who I think at $41 for the win, $13 for a place. It's funny, when we say these things, the fluctuations come in a little bit.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we might have some pull
so
there.
You've got to get second to get $13 different. That's amazing.
Interesting, Mercenary is now taking over as favourite at $2.30 after opening up at $13.
Small
Saint
field
Sebastian
though, isn't it? I mean, we say
at
about nursing it,
$2.50.
but it's a really small field.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't have a lot to get past either. That's going to make a big difference
And
as
it's
well.
a mobile. So that also...
Have you agreed? Has Jim agreed with you this time? This is what we need to know. You guys have switched the corners
and he's
tonight.
winning so far, but he's gone Saint Sebastian on
he's
top.
Retiring. Saint Sebastian,
2, 4,
Same.
5 and 6. But he's cleaned
Excellent.
me out as far as tipping between me and him has gone tonight.
That is
But
well
my
done.
numbers 2, 4, 5 and 3 in race 7. The mobile's moving into position now. Jim Jakes, he's standing by. We could call. We thank him for his efforts there.
Excellent, yeah.
We're getting set here for race 7.
Moving up, 3-year-old Southern Cross final for the Trotters. Thanks to Aldebaran Park, 2,230 metres. And we're just about set to go. So Mercenary's been heavily backed into $2. Saint Sebastian at $3.10. We've got Lachlan Stace on standby. We're set to go away. Greywood's Diamond began well. Mercenary settles down in 4th placing. They're all trotting at this stage. Trotting roughly was Aldebaran Dexter, who's off the track. In the meantime, Greywood's Diamond hasn't got over the favourite. Saint Sebastian kicking through on the inside and keeping it out. Wishing Zone made a mistake on the inside. Mercenary's about 15 metres behind the favourite in 3rd placing. Still trotting was My Bad Habits. Can't say the same about the other two. Wishing Zone and Aldebaran Dexter have made a mistake. They're out the back. In the front straight, he copped a bit of pepper, Saint Sebastian, from Greywood's Diamond, but he held him out and he leads by 4 metres. Mercenary's about 10 metres away in 3rd placing. Behind it was My Bad Habits. We've got a margin then of around about 55 to 60 metres to Wishing Zone, and another 70 metres away in last placing was Aldebaran Dexter. Around the bend they go. Saint Sebastian went 47.6 lead time. Leads by 5 metres. In 2nd place in Greywood's Diamond. Mercenary moves to the outside. Has been spec'd at good odds and was backed actually into favourite into $2 and now faces the breeze. The 2-year-old winner from last year. Now behind those in the 1 out 1 back was My Bad Habits, who pushed him right to the line, so we might get a similar scenario this year as well. A margin then of around 50 metres to Wishing Zone and another 45 metres to Aldebaran Dexter. Lead time 47.6. First quarter covered in 32.5. He's able to dictate terms now, Mick Norman, with Saint Sebastian. Give him a little breather. Mercenary on the outside gets to his girth now, and on the inside was Greywood's Diamond. 1 out 1 back was My Bad Habits, who's in a good position, following the right horse, and just being niggled at to get onto its back, on the Mercenary's back as they start to lift the tempo. Wishing Zone's done some good chasing, has nearly tacked on. Aldebaran Dexter won't. Around the bend, 700 to go. 31.7 that second section, 64.2. And in front, Saint Sebastian. Mercenary on the outside goes up the challenge strongly, but right behind it is My Bad Habits. He's going to have the last crack of them. They've dropped off Greywood's Diamond. Wishing Zone is starting to get past him. Aldebaran Dexter 30 metres away. In the meantime, Saint Sebastian is matching Mercenary, but Mercenary won't go away. He's at the girth. They've got 400 to go. Loading in front by a metre. Hasn't popped the question on Mercenary. And My Bad Habits is about 6 metres away, but he's gradually warming to the task. 29.8 the 3rd quarter. Saint Sebastian joined by Mercenary. My Bad Habits 5 metres away. Pills to the outside. Mercenary goes to the lead. Heavily back runner goes to the front by a long neck. On the inside, Saint Sebastian trying hard, but Mercenary takes the 2-year-old. Now takes the 3-year-old Southern Cross final and beats Saint Sebastian. 3rd placing My Bad Habits, 4th placing Wishing Zone. She was about 50 metres away. Then Aldebaran Dexter, and the last one home was Greywood's Diamond. A little bit too good, the heavily back favourite Mercenary.
They got $13 last night, jumped at $2, so they've done some pretty good shopping, good enough to sit outside the leader and win. Numbers coming up shortly, but it should be 4, 2, 5 and 1 after the 3-year-old trot final. Paul, I'm going to get Lachlan Stace to call the last race, mate. My voice is gone. Yeah. All right, mate. So, yeah, for sure. So Lachlan Stace will call the last race, mate. Cheers, mate. Yeah. Okay, overall time 250.8, 250.8, mile rate 23.3, lead time 47.6, the quarters 32.5, 31.7, 29.8, 29.1, last mile 23.1, they went 64.2, they came home in 58.9. 4, 2, 5 and 1, 4, 2, 5 and 1, the judges' numbers, 4, 2, 5, 1, fifth goes to 6, 2.5 metres by 7, 2.5 by 7, 250.8, mile rate 23.3. Just checking for the all clear otherwise. All clear is there, all clear, all clear. Lachlan Stace, I've had him running around left, right and centre. I've asked if Lachlan can call the last race for us here. He'll take the last race on, the 2-year-old Southern Cross Series final. We'll give Lachlan a chance to regain his breath after he's dashed down from there. And, yeah, maybe the presentation will take place shortly.
Thank you, Jim, but thankfully I might not have to do an interview here because the horse has disappeared from the track. So he's got a runner in the next race, so he's not taking the horse out for a photo. So we'll do the photo down in the stables. But all good, thank you. And we'll be back for race 8 on the stream. Mel Kittel will be catching up with Tyson Lenke.
Welcome back, guys. Obviously, we just saw the 3-year-old trotters final. Mercenary, too good there for Kelvin Bucker and Bailey McDonough. Massive run, wins the 2-year-old and 3-year-old Southern Cross final. Well done to Connections. Now I do have, as you guys can see next to me, Tyson Lenke. No stranger to the Southern Cross wins here, Tyson. But let's firstly talk about the heat tonight where you had Lulu Quick involved in race 4. Really nice run to run into 3rd. Unlucky last week, galloped and still made up a lot of ground to run a really good race. But this horse is just improving all the time and it was a nice run tonight. Yeah, she's still got her issues, but yeah, glad that the season's over for her. She'll have a couple of weeks in the paddock. Definitely needed it. She just sort of come to the end of her prep and just super happy that she hit the line well and did everything right, and hopefully improves the next season and we can have some fun with her. Yeah, for sure. It looks like a nice horse. No not very big either. Is it just deceiving that the others it doesn't look
No,
like they're
she is
very
small.
big?
She is small. First
Big heart.
follitis.
Yeah.
She's got a 2-year-old filly sister who's will end up about near on 16 hands. So
Yeah, wow.
it's the mother, the father are all 16 hands, and yeah, she's just a midget. So
Tyson, speaking of Southern Cross finals, obviously you came here last year with Encipher for Emma Stewart, owned by yourself. She's an absolute superstar. She's gone again this year and just got better and better. You must be absolutely thrilled with this horse. What a dream come true.
yeah, it is a dream. What she's doing, obviously, we've been in this game long enough to just want to be in some of those races. The prestige behind just the Victorian Oaks and SA Oaks and those sorts of races. You see some of the fillies on the trophies, and it's still don't wake me up. It's one of those moments where, you're just appreciative to be able to race at that level, and to be successful was just another thing.
She set the track here on fire when Gator drove her, when she came back for the Oaks, was it? Yeah, absolute lightning speed. It just seemed unbelievable around Globe Derby that a horse this young could go these sort of times, and she just seems to get better all the time. And I know it sounds silly to say, obviously she's going to get better, but she's gone again and repeated her last year's victory as a 2-year-old, as a 3-year-old in Melbourne with Emma. And for you guys, you've gone over and watched the win. What an absolute thrill. You're on track on the night. How were you feeling? What was it like?
Stupidly nervous, especially the Vic Oaks, obviously the first time I've seen her race over there because of COVID last year. And I know the prestige of the race again. To see that bigger crowd and all that sort of stuff, and then to see her race at that level. Unfortunately, it was I think about third last race, so I didn't get to enjoy any of the races in the night. I was too nervous, but yeah, just an absolute thrill. And she's just like a phenom as far as. The way she's improved since last year, the strength that she's showing now, the speed that she's showing now is just, it's an incredible.
And to win it as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old is just an amazing effort, isn't it? To speak about just even the horses in Emma's stable that she had against her on the night. But not only that, the Victorian, obviously the pool of horses over there is so much bigger than we have, but the ability is just phenomenal. And she's gone there and she's beaten them at their own game. Kate Gaff on board too. Bit of a hometown dream here for you guys. Is there a reason? Is that why you came back to is that why you have Kate on board? So you have back to the old days?
No, it's.
And she's very good at what she does.
Yeah, she's 100%. It's basically she was the number one driver for the stable at the time.
Yep.
And we don't tell Emma a thing as far as we'd be silly to try and say anything about what we want to race in and all those sorts of things. They do the best by the horse, and obviously Emma, Kate's driven it unbelievably well, even as a 2-year-old. Some of the draws that we had, so it's just one of those things where she gets along with the horse and she stayed on and has every right to.
Yeah, she's an amazing driver. She's one of those drivers, isn't she, like Greg Sugars? They've gone to Victoria. They were good drivers, brilliant drivers over here, but they've just turned into champions when they've hit Victoria, and good luck to them. It's what we want to see. We want to see success, that these homebred kids have gone over there and doing so well, and good luck to them, and they're driving winners every week, and it's just amazing to see. Encipher, obviously now, what is the plan for her? Where's she heading? I heard there was a plan in place for her coming up into the next month.
Vic bred 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
So the only reason she missed this was similar to last year. Would have been 8 races in 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Last year was 8 races in 8 weeks.
Wow.
And at that sort of level, it obviously takes a fair bit out of them. So we gave him the option, gave Emma the option to skip this for the horse's welfare, put her first.
For sure.
And we'd love to see her here. We'd love the crowd, everyone to see her. But obviously a premier horse like that. But yeah, she comes first, and it's one of those things where we thought about it and said, look, if you want to keep her home, do it. Yeah. And they've taken that opportunity. So.
Obviously, we all saw the noms and went, oh, there's no Encipher. But at the end of the day, the horse is more important. You guys have made the best decision. I think we're all grateful that we got to see her brilliance last year and throughout the season, that you have brought her home to see these guys. She still holds the track record, wasn't beaten tonight, and I don't think it's going to be beaten anytime soon, so that's still an amazing feat for her. So, Tice, tell me about the mare, Alcavert. She's obviously a beautiful, nice mare. Bringing from her still, and how you put her in foal to this year?
Back in foal to Captain Treacherous.
Oh.
But to show how, like the ups and downs of the game and how much, we appreciate what she's doing, is the fact that She slipped a full brother or sister this season to Captain Treacherous, unfortunately, 6 months in. So we missed out on a foal there.
Yeah.
Then we also sold her yearling sister last year at the sales. She broke in sensational for the new owners, and they were so happy it was going to go to Emma. Unfortunately, went out into the paddock for a spell and got bitten by a snake or a spider and passed away. And that's the ups and downs of the game. So that's why it's more. We appreciate it even more, and we stay humble that this is special, and we are enjoying the ride.
You obviously knew she was going to be a nice horse early on. You had her, obviously you've bred her. What was it that told you that this horse is going to be special and I need to send it to Emma Stewart?
I've been around enough horses to know when I shouldn't be training one.
A lot of people won't say that though.
100%, and we know that. We honestly can train them well and all that, but we don't have the facilities at home to keep them sound to a race at that sort of level. And if you've got something like that, that's by one of the best, if not the best stallion in the world, give her the opportunity. The worst thing that she can do is come back and race at the local level, and that's why it is a big gamble for us. So it was a big gamble for me to do it, not in a syndicate or anything like that. She obviously was different. She is different. She's her attitude to racing, attitude to life is just sensational. Anyone could handle her. Like you trust her with kids. She's just an absolutely beautiful horse, and you can understand when you're around her that there's a presence about those good horses. That's why we saw it. We understood that we'd be silly not to give her that opportunity, and it's paid off.
And it's worked in your favour for sure. Coco Mia, let's mention her. She's gone over to the Emma Stewart stable as well. Really, really good run, obviously first up, and has gone amiss, unfortunately.
Again, that's the thing. We know the ups and downs, and she had an issue that we had diagnosed as something slightly different, but she had a few little issues with us. We sent her over there to give the opportunity for the British Crown and those sorts of races, thinking that she could race at that level.
Sure.
Even Emma's vets and all that sort of diagnosed it as something different again, similar to what we were sort of thinking with her back. She's obviously come out at Geelong and just smashed the field there.
And still won, wow.
Absolutely smashed the field. Came out and finished third to Encipher in the British Crown. And then, the injury just let go. So we're hoping we've given her every opportunity to get back as far as to be a racehorse again. Again, invested in her. Do the best thing by her, and we'll give her the time, and hopefully she's back.
So she's owned by your sister, Tara Shea. She's obviously a big fan of this horse. I've seen her when you've had her trackside. She has the bling and she's all well looked after. She must have been absolutely thrilled to see her to go to Melbourne and win a race like that, and see the ability that you guys obviously saw that she had. Yeah,
it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, we understand that the good horses that we think are good horses are actually nice horses. It's just we probably need to get our facilities in the right order to be able to handle them earlier and keep them sound. Similar to a horse that we had, Delacour, who had huge ability, went over there and that's like Emma's stable honestly had a massive opinion of her, similar sort of thing. So we just got to change tact a little bit. But it is one of those things that we know we can actually breed and raise a horse of that standard. Yeah, for sure. We just got to do it in a better way.
Coco Mia's mum is that Jet Quick?
Jet Quick.
Jet Quick, right. So Jet Quick, again, is it in foal again this year?
No. But my sister's got a grey yearling sister to her. Perfect. That is like her dream. That's the only reason.
I was going to say, she would love a grey.
It's the only reason that Jet Quick was bred was to try and get that grey. So she's got a sensational yearling on her. And we got a lot of foal. We got 3 foals on the ground this year. A lot of mares back in foal and stepped it up a lot as far as the stallions they've gone to. It's going to be very, very nervous time, September of onwards next year. But that's the thing that we've had to do. We reinvest back into it.
100%. Tice, I just want to say, obviously you've invested the money into the sport. It's paid off for you with Encipher. You've continued on with this line and you've done well. You've had that horse as a racehorse, Alcavert and Jet Quick. And it's paid off for you. Well done for putting so much into our sport. I don't think I've heard anyone that wasn't happy for you guys. You're a great family. Your mum and dad, I know Pauline and Ross I used to see him come transporting the horse around. They're on track every week. And brilliant story, and we're all really happy for you. Encipher, let's hope she goes on and just keeps winning for you. We wish you all the best, and again, thanks for joining me and having a chat about your superstar.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Tyson Linky with me. I'm going to go to a quick break and I'm going to come back with Lachie to talk about the last. Guys, obviously we just saw the running of the 3-year-old trotters, and when we're going back into the babies, well done Mercenary, Kelvin Barker, Bailey McDonough. Nursed this horse around the corners, didn't he? But then too good for him in the straight, really tough win. Interesting to note, it's another David Batty owned horse, so that's 3 for the night for the Batty combination. Buckland Park obviously just out here at 2 Wells. That's a good story for us. I mean, I know we don't like the, but Dave's a local, and a good story. Mercenary was just too good for him in the 2-year-old trot, which is great.
It's back-to-back wins, isn't it? Because
it is 2-year-old and 3-year-old. Mark Billinger drove it last year.
Yeah.
Nursed it around the corners, a bit similar to what how they drove it tonight, really quiet and looked after it. I think they knew it probably was a nice horse, and proved that way, as Lachie said before the race, it was a nice horse, and good fight out in the finish, wasn't it? St Sebastian, it gave them a good little run for their money for the local.
Well, he was gallant in front, and I thought Danny's driver might had bad habits. She's in the zone tonight.
Yeah.
Gave that horse every possible chance, off a bit of a freshen up.
Yep.
They'd sort of won 2 in a row, then went off the boil and sort of quite rightly freshened it up for this one target. And there was this little stage there at about the 300. I thought it's going to run into this, but those two in front just gave that extra kick.
It's one to watch. It's got ability. The other one was Wishing Zone that galloped early for Claire Gobel and Corey Johnson and made up a lot of ground to run into 4. So a few to watch there for sure. Race 8 is our last on the card, 9:47. We've broken Jim Jakes after our interview, so Lockie has to call the last, so we've lost Lockie as well. So
well, we had the 1-2 combo because we had him in the owner's room and presented him with a little parting gift. Obviously, Jim,
God, he's going to need it.
You would have waxed lyrical about his fine career and outstanding contribution to South Australian harness racing.
He's amazing.
But, I think getting up and speaking for a few minutes there and then
on
the
then
live
come
stream
here.
we broke him. It was like him.
We did.
He was the equivalent of getting to race 14, and he just couldn't hack it. So
Sorry,
lucky
Jim.
we've got our man Lockie on.
But
on
he did
standby.
a great interview for us. We're going to miss him. He's an actually icon for us, and good that we got to have a chat to him. Race 8 is the 2022 Outer Barron Park 2-year-old Trotters Southern Cross Final. Again, didn't have to go around in the heat. It was a race for the 2-year-olds last week, so we have a couple of additions into this race that didn't go around. But Centillionaire, number 1, Jill Nielsen, Katie Wilson. It's really hard to say that combo. It's got me twice tonight. 2, Skew Whiff is obviously, again, Jill Nielsen. Danielle Hill on fire, as you've said. This is really the one to beat, isn't it? It doesn't do a lot wrong, this horse, for a 2-year-old trotter. I spoke to Jill last week. She said he just is an easy horse. And I think, obviously, there's the outsider. The other sequence is added to this race coming over from Victoria. Going to make it interesting. But Skew Whiff seems like a nice little horse.
A little bit like the previous race, wasn't it? We've got a very good, honest horse that's been building up a great winning record, and then the little fly in the ointment that on form, just on pure number 44067. But I mean, if you break down those sectional times, as Danny was talking about earlier, it's definitely in the mix.
And it's no different to Mercenaries in the last race. You look at its form 38260. You went, oh, what?
And that's why
it's
he
different.
opened $8. I think the TAB probably might not have looked as
I hope
closely
someone
as they
did
should
get
have
the
on the floor.
$13 when it opened up.
Into 8 quickly
Amazing.
and then snapped up.
Ended up into favourite in the end. Yeah.
I tell you, if David Thun, our racing manager, was allowed to bet, like he nearly fell off his chair when he saw what price because he got, this thing in the office during the week. Well, Mercenary will probably start like maybe just odds on.
Yeah.
And then I sort of showed him what TAB opened it, and he was flabbergasted.
Ring a few family members, I think. Number 3, Western Boy, Jamie Williams, David Smith. And number 4, New Run Dairy is Toby Ryan and Lisa Ryan combining again for the night. Number 5, Sequence is the visitor from Victoria, Kelvin Barker for Bailey McDonough, who obviously driven the trotter, the combination in the last race with Mercenary already on a winner. 6, Glamorize, Mick Norman obviously trains and drives this horse, just narrowly defeated in the 2-year-old. Number 7, Misfortune, is Jill Nielsen for Sam Pascoe. Spoke to Sam earlier, said it will probably need a bit of luck in this race. And number 8 is Hasta La Vista Lady. It was, again, Jill Nielsen for driven by Wayne Hill. 1, 2, 3, 4 runners for Jill. Well done.
Well done, Jill. She's a huge contributor to the local industry, and especially through Jeff Easton as well. And Hasta La Vista Lady, we'll be saying that to you shortly, and you've done a great job tonight. Thank you, Mal, along with Lockie. But really, as we're about to sort of approach score-up time, it's so important for these 2-year-olds just to trot and get away. The race can be really won and lost in that.
And we spoke to Danny about this earlier. It's a mobile start. They are 2-year-olds. They're babies. And I spoke to Jill about this horse last week. It does a lot right. Hopefully it can do it right again and that's part of the game, isn't it? They've got to trot and they've got to do everything right.
Absolutely.
Sounds like Lockie is on board for Jim Jakes in the last race 8. This is the 2-year-old Trotters Southern Cross final heats. We will cross to Lockie and we'll be back for a wrap-up after this.
Sequence opened up at $17. Big push there for the 5. And 480, number 1, Centillionaire. Then we go to 19, about the 6, Glamorize, as they score up. The mobile rounds have been 2-year-old Trotters Southern Cross final. Glamorize a little bit rusty in the score up there. Same to be said about Hasta La Vista Lady. Glamorize may miss the start here. We're set to run to wrap up the program. Glamorize has galloped and will miss it by about 20. There's speed off the inside from Skew Whiff, pressurised early by Narundari, who moves up, going for a gallop in the early part. Western Boy, Hasta La Vista Lady missed it by about 10, is trotting. Glamorize is trotting as well. Western Boy still in a gallop. On top, Skew Whiff. The fave found the top easily, clear by about 5 metres. Narundari goes for a gallop in behind, through to second Sequence, makes up ground quickly and is right on the leaguer's back in the early stages. A further 10 away then to Centillionaire, a further 15 away then in 4th placing to Misfortune. Fortune ATM. 6 metres away, Hasta La Vista Lady. A further 25 metres away then to Glamorize, who's made ground but galloped at the start. A further 15 away then to Narundari, who's trotting roughly, and a further 35 to Western Boy, who galloped wildly at the start. Lead time 14.2, opening quarter 32.4. On top, the odds-on Skew Whiff, clear by 4 metres. The heavily backed Sequence, right on the leaguer's back. 6 metres away then to Centillionaire. They look like the main three, a gap of about 45 then to the others, headed by Glamorize, who's making a ton of ground. Back on the inside, Misfortune ATM breaks for a gallop. Surpassing Misfortune ATM now is Hasta La Vista Lady, a big gap of about 60 metres then to Narundari, a further 25 to Western Boy. Second quarter 31.7, first half 64.1. Real race on our hands now. Skew Whiff on top by 2 metres, but a heavily backed Sequence looms up on the outside to apply the pressure. 15 away then to Centillionaire, a further 45 to Glamorize. They're your first 4 chances if they do everything right. They race up to the turn, 29.5. Skew Whiff, she's really getting challenged now. Sequence is looming up on the outside, really putting the pepper on. Skew Whiff needs to lift. Sequence looming up on the outside. Skew Whiff is kicking. Sequence is lunging. Sequence goes up to Skew Whiff. Sequence takes out the 2-year-old Trotter's Southern Cross. Sequence beats home Skew Whiff. Third will be Centillionaire. A gap then to Glamorize, who make up some ground after galloping early. And then we go back to the others. Hasta La Vista Lady in front of Western Boy, Narundari, and Misfortune ATM. Sequence, big performance, was backed heavily and has got the prize. Sequence number 5, your winner, Bailey McDonoghue for Kelvin Barker. Majestic Sung out of Imitating, a Bay filly 2 years, owned and bred by Buckland Park Homestead, managed of course here by Dave Baggy. Number 5 gets the win. Beaks home the 2, Skew Whiff. For the first time in her career at start number 5, she has been defeated. Danielle Hill for Jill Nelson, 5 and 2 in the frame. Number 1 will run third, Centillionaire. KG Wilson for Jill Nelson, 4th for 6, which was Glamorized. Michael Norman for Trainer Driver. And 58, Hasta La Vista Lady, Wayne Hill for Jill Nelson. Lead time 14.2, quarters 32.4, 31.7, 29.5, 28.9. Halves was 64.1, 58.4. Overall time 2:17. Mile rate 22.5. Last mile 22.5. 1.5 by 34. 1.5 by 34. 5216 are your numbers. Sequence takes home the 2-year-old Southern Cross final for the Troggers here on Southern Cross Night at Globe Derby. 5216 after race 8. All clear race 8, and that wraps up Southern Cross Night at Globe Derby. What a terrific night it has been. On behalf of Jim Jakes and myself, a very good evening to all.
Welcome back to the Southern Cross live stream. And Mel, I think it's been one of the more weirder nights I've had Globe Derby. That's the thing about this place. You never know what sort of night you're going to get.
Oh, it's just spoken to Dean.
When you come here.
We broke Jim and then we lost you because we broke Jim for his interview. But thank you, Jimmy, for the interview. It was brilliant.
But it's cost himself the last race.
Consequence was we lost Lockie, we lost Jim. So sorry about that. But it was really great to hear from Jim. He's been an absolute icon, as we've mentioned.
I think I spoke to Nathan earlier. It was amazing the spiking viewers when Jim came on our live stream tonight. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you.
Yes.
But of course, Sequence taking out the final event, heavily backed favourite for Kelvin Barker, and they take out the final two.
They took out the 3-year-old and the 2-year-old. I spoke about most of it quickly when you weren't here, but that's also won a 2-year-old and 3-year-old final now. Nursed over the line last year by Mark Billinger. He knew he had the best horse in the race. And similar today, it was a really good finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Battle to the line. We've had really good finishes tonight. The last was no exception. Obviously, a little bit disappointing for Skew Whiff to not get the win after it's been going so well, but still really gallant in defeat. Wasn't a
amazing.
Nice run.
She didn't break. She's a bullproof trial, and that was proven tonight because she was under pressure, heavy pressure for that last lap. So well done to Julie.
Yeah, Sequence obviously getting the cash. Skew Whiff in second, Brave in defeat. Really good finish again. We've had some really good racing and some great finishes, haven't we?
Oh, it's been a great night.
Yeah,
and I must say, credit to Harness Racing SA. The Friday night time slot has worked. Healthy crowd here tonight. Obviously, we're going to have healthy turnover. We'll get Friday night prime time slot. So well done.
Obviously, Dean Elliott and his team have done a great job. There's been a few initiatives recently for SA Harness Racing that are working in our favour. I know there's a lot of whinges around, isn't there? There's a lot of negative feedback. I think if you don't have anything good to say, probably don't say it and keep it to yourself, because little steps are steps forward. And these are the things that we need in harness racing here in SA. If you want to help, have a crack, but do you know what I mean? These guys are really making an effort. David does a great job. Dean and his team are doing a great job. This was
there's a lot of work behind the scenes.
100%.
This is a fantastic setup tonight. Thank you to the team, John Rothe Video, Daniel behind the camera, great work, mate, and of course Nathan down the van as well, and the entire team at John Rothe. We thank them
they've
for
done
their
a
support
brilliant job.
because they made us look very good tonight. And it's been a pleasure working with you as well, Mel.
Face for radio. We've all got the face for radio, as Jim said. But yeah, you too, Lockie, great job. You've been running downstairs and back up again for your interviews. You really got the short end of the stick.
This is our first time at a desk together, and I felt like we went really well. Hopefully we can do this again.
Yeah, let's hope we can, now that it's gone well, we can hope we get back on board for a Country Cup series. Well done to all the connections tonight. Again, Harness Racing SA and SA Bottra for the refreshments and stuff they put on for the participants. This is something, you know, I saw a lot of people walking up there, and a lot of people will go. So yeah, well done, and thanks to everyone that came up and watched the race. Well done to all the connections. David Batty again with the winner in the trot. So Buckland Park again gets some more money. Well done to all the connections, all the drivers. Danielle Hill on fire. How many Southern Crosses can she win? Let's maybe put our money on now for next year.
Just a note, Sam Pascoe and Danny Hill both had success in Group 3 events. We're going to stream going forward if we get another opportunity to do, because obviously make sure you come on if you're a driver or a trainer.
Yeah, don't deny our interviews.
And that's one of the best, that's one of the things I always try and put across in the media of harness racing. Like, if you get a chance to get spoken to promote yourself, always do it.
Yeah, and they promoted themselves well. Both the girls spoke well. They gave themselves a good chance, and they were right, weren't they? They put their horses in the races, and they did really well. Thank you to everyone that's joined us tonight for interviews. Amazing effort. Thanks, Lockie, and I think we can wrap up the night, and hopefully you can join us again. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone, and we really do appreciate your support throughout the night. We'll catch you next time right here on the John Rothe Video YouTube channel. Thanks to Harness Racing SA, and hopefully you had a great night tuning in. Southern Cross night here at Globe Derby, signing off.